Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hit that like button. Hit that like button as you come in. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the Real Precious, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Definitely hit that like button, share, and subscribe to the channel. Tonight is Mixed Monday, man's panel. Or men's panel, I should say. So we're going to get into it. I have the actual King Smith with me tonight. Sean is in the building, and Hank is also here. He's in the background. He'll be with us shortly. But I wanted to see how you guys are doing before we get started. Sean, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well, thank you. And how about yourself?
I'm doing good, doing good. Can't complain. It's Monday, Monday is sometimes it's hard getting started on a Monday, but today was good. I must say, I can't really complain. I can't complain. I got some rest last night.
I'm glad to hear that. So did I, actually. And I was out here, the BT Wars was out here, and I participated in nothing, which
Ooh,
unusual. And it was great, though.
you didn't do anything. You
I,
didn't. You
I
didn't. You
didn't
didn't
even
make a
watch the
guest appearance.
I didn't even watch the awards.
I didn't watch the EBT awards either. Okay, I didn't watch them
The
either.
EBT awards, I love
But
that.
we gonna talk about some things that happened at the EBT awards. Okay, I didn't watch it either.
EBT awards, that's a good one.
That's good.
The actual King Smith, how are you this evening, sir?
Hey, the real precious. I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me. I done ate dinner with my lady and my daughter. Then got through one live stream today earlier already, and now this is the final live stream of the evening. Thankful that you are allowing me to be on your platform here.
Of course, of course, of course. You're the OG of the Mixed Message Monday. And tonight is, I think there's a lot of mixed messages tonight. So we're just going to get into it. So I was talking about the EBT Awards, y'all. If you watched it, let us know in the chat. Tarika, I see you. I see you here. Thank you so much for being here. God happened to me. I do see you in the chat. But if y'all watched the BET Awards last night, definitely let us know in the chat. But we do know that when we woke up, there was a lot of things in the media, a lot of things in social media about the BET Awards, and one being Lil Uzi and JT from City Girls. They got into it. So I was listening to Jason Lee earlier, right? There's this app called Amp Radio. I don't know if you guys have heard about it or not.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna check it out a little bit to see, what's going on over there, because it's like you can have your own radio show, you can play
Right.
music. It's not necessarily copyright over there, so you just can't record it, of course. So I'm gonna check out and see how things are going over there. But I checked him out today. It was his first show on in the AMP app. And he was talking, he said that he went to the BET Awards and he was there for about 15 minutes. He said people were dressed poorly. It just, a lot of people actually weren't there. It seemed like a lot of people were there, but a lot of people weren't there. A lot of things were done in, just ill taste. There was no presenter or no host at the BET Awards, I guess. I don't know. Who watched it? Anybody watch it?
I didn't watch it. I wasn't even aware
It might be on right now. It might be on right now because somebody
Like
just
the
texted me
rerun?
a little while ago and asked me, was I watching it? And I said, no.
Like the rerun? I thought it came on this weekend.
Yeah, I guess it's as good as mine. All I know is literally right before I got on here, I got a text that, are you watching the BET Awards?
Oh, wow.
So
It might be a rerun because I think it has already happened.
but it happened yesterday live.
Right, right.
Mhm.
So this morning, of course, like I said, social media was just blowing up from what happened. So I'm gonna play this video and then we want to get into it because this is one thing that I always talk about on this channel. And I always talk about the first thing that a woman needs to get together is her mouth. And we're going to play this this video because this is a perfect display of how women can get out of control even in public. So I'm going to put this up here. Hold on, let me make sure. Now, before I play it, remember this is JT from the City Girls arguing with Lil Uzi.
Give me your phone. All right. Give my fucking phone, bitch.
So that's the video. That's a snippet of the video. There were different angles. There were different videos. She called him a groupie at one point. It seemed as though, now I don't know if this is the real story, but it seemed as though Little Uzi did a song where he had a line in there about Ice Spice. Like he had sex with a girl that looked like Ice Spice. And then he took a selfie with Ice Spice. So everyone is putting two and two together saying, okay, you calling him a groupie, which means maybe he was talking inappropriately with Ice Spice. Maybe he did something that she just didn't approve of. But what do you guys think of that video?
A couple of things. Can y'all give clarity on who was who? Was he the one getting hit and she was the one throwing, or she was the one getting hit and he was the one? Because they both got hair in the darkness. I couldn't tell.
So she threw her phone at him and it hit him and it bounced off somewhere. And then she told him to give her, yeah. So I'm gonna play it again. So that was her who just threw the phone.
Okay, so she initiated the contact. Go ahead.
Give me your phone. All right. Give my fucking phone, bitch.
Oh, man.
Okay. So you've seen the video and you know what happened. What do you think?
Whew. City Girls. This is what we have come to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I saw it coming. We saw it coming a mile away. Hot Girl Summer was the start of it. You know, that was the whole mentality and the whole start of what we just saw. That is where it leads to. That whole mentality is what comes with it. Mm-hmm. Ignorance, lack of emotional capacity, not being able to maintain how you deal with things maturely. I mean, the list can go on, but that is a result of having the mentality of the city girls that we are now promoting in this society heavily.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an unfortunate reality. And it's kind of good that you're going to segue into the other part of a Chicago person, Lil Uzi Vert being from Chicago and her being from Miami or what have you, that you're going to segue the opposite way and what can happen with
Mm-hmm.
this mentality.
Yeah. King, what do you think about the video?
It it's one of the things that I talk about often where I say, look, I think there's three quadrants. The term high values, like overplayed, too many people talk about that. I talk about quality, the quality of the person, low, average quality, and high quality. That to me is an example of a low quality individual. It's hard to say what Lil Uzi Vert did or didn't do that caused her to just go off, but to do that publicly not only is embarrassing to her, but it's embarrassing to him as well, especially if they came into that as a couple. I think that there is a way that you can handle yourself that shows some decorum, keep yourself from being extra humiliated, to where you can either get through the night or just leave without making yourself look stupid. And I believe that she made herself look more dumb than anybody else in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Now they did leave together. It looked like they left together. Again, there were a few videos
He done.
online, so it looked like they left together.
They came
Even if
together, so they left together, I'm sure.
no, I don't care. Let's say I did something grimy privately. You throw a phone at me publicly, it's a wrap. Find your own way home.
But again, that's because you're standing on standards and grounds which I can agree with. But unfortunately, the mentality of the city girls highlights ignorance, highlights just decorum that just doesn't exist. So
So are
I'm
you saying that he just went with it because that's the nature of the person that she is?
I think he knows the nature of the person that she is. One, two, she is a woman out of control, and unfortunately, the consequences that are not given to those type of actions is why they continue to persist.
Yep. And left unchecked, or if he doesn't leave, will lead to him going to jail or him losing his life. So if he chooses to still stay with that and there's nothing that she does or that somebody mentors her to correct that, somebody's going to lose their life or lose their freedoms. And if he doesn't see that, he's
I,
an idiot.
I personally wish that she would have caused a speed knot on his head.
Hey, for real.
And cops would have saw it because they would have had to arrest her in California because since O.J. Simpson and Nicole, if you have any mark on you, it's no longer in a personal. It's now the state that is indicting you. So they're going to take you into custody. Whoever has the mark on them, they're going to take into custody. And that would have been a great lesson for her to be able to get locked up where you can't take me. I'm the city
Now
girl.
she's
You know
been
who I
locked
am.
up before, and I'm wondering if that's why they kind of they tried to clear up the story and say that she was mad that she lost her seat or something like that, and that's why she went off. But I'm wondering if that's a cover up because she was locked up before.
We ain't gotta wonder that. That was nonsense. You don't throw your phone at somebody because they took your seat. You just ask them to get out your seat.
Right.
You know, you just have the handlers, which they have at the award show.
Yes.
Well, we don't know if EBT had.
I know this. I know this. I know this. There's no EBT, BET, PBS. I know they have handlers specific to these circumstances and artists at the very minuscule portion. I worked with the Source Award, which was the BET Hip Hop Awards prior to the BET Hip Hop Awards. We had handlers, and it was much worse ghetto-ness to deal with.
Yes, and bump that. I don't have time. That's why I like going to the movie theaters where you can pick your seat and choose. Because look, if somebody's sitting in my seat, look, I'm look, I can handle my own. I can bench press 300 plus pounds. I ain't trying to pick a fight with somebody and go to jail. You know what King's gonna do? King's gonna either go find the handlers, or I'm gonna go to the authorities, aka whoever owns the movie theater, and say, "Hey,
Authorities.
this ninja is in my seat. Go get him." Because I ain't about to pick the fight. King will go to the authorities.
And
Yes, I
that's the
am.
one who was in jail. That's the city girl who was in jail.
Yes.
And she basically
You
see
would think
hit.
that
No, you wouldn't, because
no.
guess what? When you go to jail and it's like a slap on the wrist, and you're kind of idolized in there, you get a little cushion. People, you're a celebrity, and people take care of you that way. You get out thinking that you now are
One
hard
touch.
and you now
Yep.
are street, and you get out having a more arrogant attitude, more so than humble. And it's an unfortunate reality to a lot of entertainers who go to jail and don't have a hard time in jail.
Hmm. Well, the reason why I wanted to play the video again is because it's just a horrible display of women in public, women speaking to men in public. It's just like, when are we going to learn that? And I think it's a part of what you said, Sean, is just part of her behavior, it's part of her character, it's part of just who she is. But adults aren't the only people that watch these shows. What's that red girl? Little Red, Sexy Red, maybe is her name. Sexy
Oh,
Red.
I
I
don't know.
don't know
See
these
so
artists'
many
names,
Lils
but
and
she has like a red wig, and she's just the most ratchet chick that I done seen. She was at the BET Awards on in the aisle, with a stack of money singing her song, and it's like, girl, why can't you just
oh, I
enjoy
just
your
looked her
song
up. Oh
from the
no.
seat?
She
She
has
is
every
the most.
red flag known to man
I,
just displayed.
I just said, you know what?
Can we put some civilization to some of these things?
Some
Because
Oh,
class, some decorum, some act right. It's just not there anymore. There's
well
no
the
class.
the problem is class right now. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
So, how y'all doing?
Um,
Hola.
all
all
right.
right, all right. Good to see you, my man.
The class right now, or the decorum is, or the it's neither one of those words, but the actual popular thing to do and mentality is get the bag at any
Mhm.
means necessary. At what cost, it doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, the more ratchet, the more popular you become.
Mm.
And they understand this. It's really not a difficult thing to understand. So I don't always try and look at what I see on TV. I like to try and meet the person so I can get a better idea if this is a character or if this is their character.
Mm.
Because sometimes it's just a character being portrayed, but what we just saw was not a character. That was her character.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Welcome, Mandrell. Welcome, Passport Bro Charles. How you guys doing this evening?
What up, fellas?
Uh,
How you doing?
Hey everyone.
Passport, bro.
Did
What
you
up,
guys
with you,
have
bro?
anything to add to the conversation before we go on?
Yeah, piggybacking off from what Sean said. I think what was that? Yvonne Lanzan Van Zant, whatever her name is.
Ivana La.
Iyanla Van
Yeah,
Zandt.
yeah. When she said that the women are paid to be dysfunction or ratchet or stuff like that. I mean, you see it all over the BET awards. I mean, all the clips I done seen was just ghetto on top of ratchet on top of hot mess on top of just everyday urban stuff you done seen on social media all in one place. And the women are profiting and they're technically a success from it. So I mean, I guess this what the black community is gonna be for, I guess, until the next trend comes. Hopefully, the the Mary J. Blige's, the Beyonce's, the Mariah Carey's. Hopefully that comes back around because I'm tired of this. Who can be the most ratchet and who can have the most babies and who can get into the most fights. The modern era.
I understand your name right now because
Yeah.
that's why we go get passports.
Yeah.
Man, Drill, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Sean? First of all, shame on you for just now getting a passport. That says a lot about you. Second of all,
I didn't say I just now got one.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up, Sean. I was about to be disappointed.
Nah, not at all.
See you that late, but anyway, no. This is one of those things where it's par for the course, really, and it's just ladies think this is cute, but then you get pissed off when guys that you get around don't choose you for marriage. You know what I mean? Who wants this? Who wants this full time? I get it every now and again. You might get out of character. Somebody might, get under your skin or whatever, and you might haul off and slap them because they might deserve it. They might have it coming. However, I mean, this is something you address after the fact. You don't do this in a setting like that, in a venue like that, in front of people.
Right.
You don't. It's just like these people don't know how to behave themselves in public, and whatever, man. I don't deal with people like that.
Yeah, my daughter and I was speaking, and what she said, she said, is Hannah Montana turning into Miley Cyrus?
No, it's not.
I think it's the other way around.
Well, I might be saying it wrong, but basically the good girl. And then remember when she came out and she's all and tongue out and taking off her shirt and all of that. That was the start of where we are right now.
My mind went to Hannah Montana, Hannah Montana.
See what I'm saying, Precious? You're not helping. You're not helping, Precious. Just...
Oh man, and I try not to be one of those old people, because
it's inevitable. It's inevitable.
What you mean? You try not to be one of those old people?
Precious. He's talking about
one thing that men on YouTube need to stop trying to be is younger than what they are. I'm gonna just throw that out there.
Well,
be your age.
I hear you, but let me explain. Let me answer your question. What do I mean? When we were younger, and they used to always look down on us and say, "Oh, that music is nothing, that bitty bop, and you don't know what you're doing." And they used to always really not value anything that we were doing, and used to talk down on it. Yeah, I'm trying not to be a hypocrite to talk down on these young people, but I don't feel like I'm being a hypocrite with some of the things that I'm talking about.
Yeah, back in my day, I mean, it's inevitable. I think I was thinking about that. I think yesterday, where I'm looking at what's being displayed on constant, on threads, on social media and stuff like that, and it's just like they push this. Like me, I can decipher. I can try to opt to go outsource and find quality stuff to look at. But if I'm just paying attention to what's being fed to me, it's just nothing but ratchetness, pretty much.
Yeah, don't eat off of what's being fed to you.
Yeah.
We'll say that. Do
there's a fine line
being fed to you.
I'm sorry. There's a fine line between exploitation and expression. And I think we used to kind of go down that line. We was expressing ourselves, trying not to exploit certain things. And I think right now they're exploiting themselves and trying to act like it's expression.
Stop it.
Talk to me.
Stop it.
You go ahead. Talk to me. What you mean?
Okay, Shaft was exploitation.
Huh?
What was that?
Shaft. That was exploitation.
Agreed.
The Last Dragon was exploitation.
Agreed.
Okay. This shit these women are doing now, that's just who they are. No one's exploiting anything. That's just who it just is. Right. It just is what it is now, Sean. I mean, you give what I'm saying is, Sean, you're giving them too much credit.
It is who she is.
Right. You're giving them too much credit. You're still hoping and wishing.
Some credit.
No, I was there about 15 years ago. you're holding out too much hope. Don't.
Keep hope alive.
You're right. I get it.
I came up with Jesse Jackson.
You know what happened, Sean? I held out hope, and you know what happened? They got worse. They got worse, and they're going to continue to get worse until they're butt naked on beaches here in America.
They're already butt naked.
I was going to say,
and
Hank told it. Did y'all watch Hank's show when he told about his Jamaica trip?
Oh, I hadn't seen that. I gotta catch that.
Go back on his channel and watch.
I caught a bit of it.
He pretty much said they out here naked, and not just the skinny ones, the big ones.
Yeah, that's the shameful part right there. Like you carrying way too much meat on that semi you driving.
Well, they got it falling off the bones, child. Like they got
it falling off the bones. I bet, but it ain't for me. Okay, you too heavy. Anyway,
they need you, Mandrell. They need you to help them get in shape.
I would love to help them get in shape. However,
you might fall in love with one of them.
No, Precious. Been there, done that. No.
Man.
No, thank you.
Okay.
But hey, if you want to be big and whatnot, cool. But don't drag me for having a show about health and fitness. I don't understand that.
Speaking of which,
but anyway, my point is this:
wait, King, did you add something? I'm sorry, Mandra.
No, I said don't besmirch the Last Dragon now.
No, but it was exploitation. Come on.
I saw this.
Oh, yeah. This is Sexy Red, the one lady that you were talking about. I looked her up. This is her.
The STD lady.
That is a walking red flag all day, every day.
What gave it away? Was it the tattoo on the face or
no? She said she caught 3 STDs from a boyfriend or former fling, sneaky link, whatever you call it these days.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. She did an interview. She did a recent interview that she caught chlamydia like 2 or 3 times or something like that. Nice. I think it was that Angela Eve, the Breakfast Club girl.
Yeah.
Awesome. Probably.
So what gave it away was
lip service.
Wait, a woman with a tattoo on her face. Let's examine that for a minute. Okay, we thought it was wild when Mike Tyson did it. Everybody has something to say about it. This woman does it. I didn't know this woman existed until you just showed that picture, Precious.
See,
no clue that chick existed. No one said anything.
He was at the BET Awards, and her song came. They were playing her song. Mm-hmm. I guess it's like a song to pass the time for their next act or whatever. Yes, intermission. Song. And she's sitting there, and then she gets up with her stack of money.
Mm-hmm.
And she just all in the aisle dancing in front of Dr. Bobby Jones. I said, you know what? Dang.
My thing is this. See, and you wonder where phrases like they should have never give you people money and stuff like that came from. You got to watch me. Excuse me. I'm trying to not to use the N word because there really ain't much to say. You're doing it to yourselves, and then you get mad at people for having something to say about it. Sean, I'm with you, Sean. I get what you're saying. You don't want to sound like the old guy. However, I was going to ask you, I feel you, but do you understand what they were saying now? Do you see what they see now? Do you see what they saw back then now? Because I do. Because I do. I see what I'm like, you know what?
We wasn't as bad.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But
it probably was. It just we didn't have social media.
It just wasn't on camera.
Wait.
Right.
You know what? We weren't that bad, but to the standards that they were trying to set, we were.
Okay, fair enough.
And so, and I think it's going the same way. The standards that we set and we have, they're horrible. Displays and representations of that, or lack of what we're trying, and our standards are lower than our parents' standards.
Exactly. They were. Our standards are way lower. I think we
liberated them
too much.
We liberated these little monsters here.
And you know what, Sean? You know where it comes from? Don't tell my child what to do. You can't whoop my child and all this kind of stuff. There's women say a man's supposed to be the disciplinarian, but you don't let us whoop your kid. And if we say anything to them with too much bass in our voice, you got something to say about that.
Yep.
You don't let us do our jobs. When you find a man who's willing to do that, you stand in his way. So, ladies, you can't have it both ways. Nobody gets it all. You create all of us, even men too. We create the women we complain about. Men create the men that they complain about. Mm-hmm. By and large, we create our own monsters.
All this is coming. all this is coming off the brink of Tyler Perry purchasing the BT channel and VH1. So this is not like a good introduction for a black man being an owner of the
Right.
TV
And speaking
network.
of black men and their behavior, Precious, are you gonna cue that video of the guy punching the lady in the
Yeah, that's
hot dog
actually
truck?
that's actually
I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to say anything about that because I was hoping and praying that you bring that
yeah,
up.
that's next.
Oh, that's next.
Because in this one video we see JT mouthing off to a man, Lil Uzi. He didn't even do anything, so I give him his props because he didn't act out the way she was acting out in an ignorant manner. At least he kept his cool. He didn't disrespect anyone. We didn't see any of that.
Real quick to that point though, had it been the opposite way, this needs to be said. Had it been the opposite way, we all know he would have got laid out. Security would have been all on top of him,
escorted out.
Do that, throw that, and still not
he
get
threw a
booted.
phone at her head. If he threw a phone at her head,
in fairness, you're right, but you're not. Because he's Little Uzi Vert, he would have been like Will Smith at that awards. He wouldn't have got escorted out whatsoever.
He ain't got that kind of clout.
It depends on the outcry.
He got the hottest song in the country right now, as far as hip hop is concerned.
Yeah, well,
they would have made some kind of excuse about he had to leave early or something.
And it still will smacking another man. Had it been a man smacking or assaulting another woman, Uzi's not staying.
King, I love to agree with you, but unfortunately, we were at the EBT Awards, and the standards of what is appropriate now has been shifted in the wrong direction. Look at what's that girl name? Blueface and his girl.
She was there. She was dancing on the pretty.
He was dancing on the red girl.
Pregnant.
No, but I'm saying
she knows she like an opportunity to open her legs and shake her ass.
He has put hands on her, and it did not go the way that we're speaking about, where people stood up on her back
publicly.
Yes,
he never put hands on her. She put hands on him.
No, he has put hands on her. As well.
They do it. They go back and forth with
it. Absolutely.
I'm talking about on tape. I'm talking about on tape. On tape, she's cracked his head, put hands on him, drug him to the ground because she's not no little chick compared to him. But I think the most I seen Blueface do to her physically was attempt to kind of swing after wrestling her off and the security not doing nothing. But he didn't wail on her.
Okay, the point that I'm making isn't what they would have done. I'm just saying that it's not. There's a possibility that it wouldn't have been addressed in the manner that we're speaking about.
Okay. Hey, this is the perfect segue into what's next.
Yeah, because in this clip, I'm sure everyone has seen this on social media. It was a mother and a son at a hot dog stand, and there was a guy there that was her and the guy had exchange, and he says, "Say one more thing, and I'm gonna knock you out." And,
my grandma.
And he's
my mama.
True.
No, he said on his grandmama.
So what he was saying.
He was saying.
So we're gonna play it.
Fool! Get your fool! If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh my grandma, say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out.
No, don't pause it. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not showing the whole thing.
What are you
doing?
YouTube in their guidelines.
You've seen it, right? You've seen it, right?
But everyone else has to.
I didn't pause it. That was the end of that video.
And you should have told me. I could have sent you the whole thing.
No, I don't want to play the whole thing, Mandrell. I am upset. Thank you. Because I'm not playing a whole. It's violence. It's you act like you don't do. Mandrell, don't please.
See, this is why I get warnings from YouTube. Don't listen to me, Precious.
I'm not.
I'm not trying to get you. I'm not trying to get you in trouble. My bad.
You are though, but you are.
Hey, listen. You listen to me. You'll have 1 million subscribers in no time. I'm trying to get black men to listen to me. You don't want to listen.
I'm sure that you guys have seen this video. I'm not going to play the whole thing because of YouTube violations.
Unfortunately.
Okay. However, they had an exchange. They're going back and forth. And the man just tease off on the woman. She then cues her son to go to the car to get the firearm, or maybe he already had it on him. I'm still trying to figure out how she told her son.
She sent him a text
Did she
message.
text
She sent him a
him,
text
or
message. He
Yeah.
was
Sent him
outside.
a text message.
He was outside.
so right? So she sends him a text message. So we all have seen the video. She sends him a text message,
No, we heard about it.
and he comes back in and shoots the guy.
Yeah.
Not only does he shoot him, he also runs after him and shoots him again.
I know
And
that's
then the
right.
mother says to, I guess, shoot the girl that he's with.
Yeah, no, that's when you go wrong.
So, excuse me. Earlier today, I also saw that all the charges were dropped against the mom and the son. Now, I have some things to say about that, but before I say what I have to say, hey, Hank, thanks for joining us. Before I have to say what I have to say, I want to hear what you guys have to say as men watching that video.
Let me start first. Let me start first. I'll keep mine brief. I was telling somebody this today. I said, men understand the threat. Like there's a threat assessment that occurs when something's going on, that you make a decision on what you're going to do and if you're going to choose to escalate something, if you're logical minded anyway. I'm not saying that she should have shut the hell up, but if I'm assessing that the person right here really looks like they're about to do something, I'm going to have to make a choice on how far I want to go. And what I'm observing is that too many ladies out there aren't properly threat assessing what's going on.
Like, read the room, girl.
I'm not saying, yes, exactly. Like, they just don't know how to read the room. I said I was going to be brief, and I think I've been about 30 seconds longer now. But I think that women have to do a better job of reading the room and really seeing if this dude's about that life or not. And not saying that she deserved it, but it's like you have opportunities to de-escalate, and she made a choice not to.
There it is.
I can't
First shot right out the box. Thank you, King. Don't worry, I'm coming.
I can't entirely agree with that because it's
exactly
it's double fold. He should have been better at handling his emotions in this case. He did not have to hook off on her because she was talking. He did not have to do any of that. But at the same time, a person with a gun is always dangerous because the only people when I see somebody escalating like that, I'm imagining they already got a gun because the only people who I ever saw out of the blue just I got shot by one. I've seen it growing up when all of a sudden out of the blue they've got a lot of extra mouth. I'm looking like, okay, there's a reason for this. And so that's where my radar goes up. And I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and figure out, let me try and ease it up because they know I could whip on them. But they still over there, blah, 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 blah. Usually there's a reason for that. And I've learned that the hard way, unfortunately. But the point I'm making is that that's what he needed to read the room. If we're going to talk about reading the rooms, he just didn't expect it. He underestimated his opponent. And that's the first thing you learn in self-defense. Don't underestimate your opponent. He went and, she talking. Oh, I'm telling you, if she talking like that, either she ready to fight you or she got something for you. And that's what wound up happening, unfortunately. So I blame them both, but I can't just put it all on her. Because she was like, I got my defense. Oh, you want to talk that? All right. Go to the trunk. And men do it all the time.
Yeah.
You just don't expect a woman to do it. So now you done got caught out.
Well, she didn't do it. Her 14-year-old son.
But the point is, no, she initiated it.
Right.
She said, go to the trunk. That's why she should be arrested. I don't agree with letting her go because it was premeditated.
I think she should be arrested too.
She should definitely be locked up because she basically put out a hit. Go get the gun. This nigga acting up.
Mm-hmm. Mandrell?
I'm disgusted with her so far. Lord have mercy. See, this is what I'm talking about. Now, I get what you're saying with the woman running the mouth. Yeah, ladies, there you do go too far at times, and there are times where you make men want to strike you. However, I put all of the responsibility on Buddy, who actually got what he wanted. He got everything he was looking for. That young warrior gave him everything he was looking for. Okay. He's going back and forth with this woman about whatever, when he could have just said, hey, whatever, and just left it alone. But he was so confident in himself and what he was going to do to her that he felt comfortable striking this woman and never put any thought into what might happen to him in return. Now, the fact that this woman had no choice but to tell her son to go, hey, go to the trunk, come help, because no man in that building stepped in between them, said, hey, both y'all chill out. It ain't that serious. Calm down. No man in that whole place. If there was a man in the joint, nobody stepped in. No, okay, cowards. I'll say that. So anyway, she has no man in her life other than her son. So she's out there unprotected, as we call it out here in this space. Mm-hmm. And the only thing this kid knows is this dude punched my mother in the face. What do you think he's going to do? Except what he's supposed to do. Come in there guns blazing. Now, here's the thing. Now, where he might have run into issues legally. When I first saw this, I was like, okay, legally, the only thing they have to worry about is when the guy tried to get away and the kid finished him off. Again, the kid did what he was supposed to do. You pull a firearm, you shoot to kill. You do not let that person get up. You do not and that's the thing. People don't understand violence. People do not understand violence. That's ultimately the problem here. Yeah, she's popping off at the mouth. Yeah, she went, okay, cool, but those are just words. But once you punch somebody, male or female, you've now turned this situation into something completely different. Mm-hmm. Now it's violent. He was ready to dish it out. He wasn't ready for what was coming. And Woo. That's the thing. And he got everything he was looking for. That young warrior, I salute him. No charges should have ever been brought to him. They should go scot-free. He protected his mother. He did what he was supposed to do. And you can't punish him for that. That man should have had more control over his emotions, arguing with a woman in a hot dog restaurant. Over what? What could you be arguing with her about? See, dumb. Just dumb.
Man, Drill, I agree with you. And I want to put light on it, but it's really a bad joke. But he said, on my grandma.
Yeah, he's right there with her now, ain't he?
On his grandma.
Yeah, on his grandma. And the thing is, here's the thing, people, if you're not willing to go either as far or further than your opponent is, do not engage in violence. That's why if I'm in a situation like that and I see it escalating, I either de-escalate it or remove myself from that situation entirely. Because I know myself. If I swing into action, I'm going all the way. One of us ain't gonna be here no more. Because I'm not giving you a chance to come back at me. That's why I'd rather just leave. Or just say, you know what? You got it.
Okay. Passport Bros. Charles?
Well, I have a different take.
I bet you do.
Hey, somebody got to come with the hammer. Well,
pause.
I look at this situation with that the mother pretty much treating her son like an attack dog. Setting him up for failure.
Somebody punch your mom in the face. What you gonna do?
Well, my mom would never be in a situation like that.
Right, say that.
Okay.
My mom, because like I said, if I come around the corner, I already know 10 times out of 10, if I find out that they're arguing about, I don't know, the BET Awards or whatever, I'm gonna be like, that's what started all this melee stuff. Now I'm gonna feel stupid that I took somebody's life over you starting or not willing to yield or back down or whatever she did not want to disengage or pipe down for whatever reason. So I know my mom wouldn't do that stuff, because obviously throughout that whole situation, when he ran outside to go keep shooting the guy after he's running away.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
I'm not talking about that part. The mom tried to go and grab the gun to go shoot the woman in the side. So obviously,
went wrong. Yeah, that's what she went wrong.
So obviously, she's not rational at all. So obviously, all her trying to do that, her head's already messed up. So her putting her son in that terrible situation, because if I'm a parent and I'm arguing with some dude with nothing to lose, or a woman with nothing to lose, I'm gonna assess this situation. I'm gonna be like, you know what, whatever. Let me get my food, take the L, because obviously my child is there. So if something happens to me and somebody takes my life, what is my 14-year-old child going to do? Now they're gonna grow up, losing me at some hot dog stand, whatever they was at. So the next point I wanted to get to is that what men have to look at is that women are not as innocent as they portray to be. She knew she had an attack dog, and she wanted the attack dog to take out the target. That's why she told him to go out there and to finish him off. Sounds like premeditated to me. That doesn't sound like, he's still a threat, because as soon as he got shot in the back, he ran off. So obviously the threat, the threat not present.
If you can run away, you're still a threat. You can still get back into that fight.
It depends where you're at.
You might go in your trunk now and come back with that thing. I ain't give you that chance. No, you finish him off.
Oh, well,
you punch my mom in the face. That's it.
Okay.
And the thing is, I'm with you because I'm with you with the whole mama thing. Now I know my mama. 50-50, she might say something out the way to somebody. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta know your parent. I know my mom wouldn't be in a situation like that. I know my mom wouldn't be in a situation like that.
Right there, like.
Yeah, I know my mother would 9.5 times out of 10. I know my mother would not be in some situations where she's escalating a argument. And I guess when he came in, I don't know, because I know when he came in,
he didn't have to put his hands on her though. When he put his hands on her,
I'm not agreeing with him.
That's where it turned into a whole nother situation. The argument, I get you. I like I said, I understand you fellas when you talk about the lady running her mouth. I'm with you on that. However, what y'all need to understand is, once you put your hands on somebody, it's not an argument no more. It's not a fuss and fight. No. Now there is violence. And violence is a whole nother universe. And people don't understand that. And violence goes wherever violence goes. It's random and it's fast. Look how fast that situation happened. It's random. That kid could have came in with a baseball bat, a crowbar, but no, he came in with a gun. Random select. Do not resort to violence unless you're ready for it. And Buddy bust that woman.
He didn't come in with the gun. His mother told him to go get it.
Yeah, because the mother didn't have the gun on him.
If he would have just came in with it and just started popping off, then I would feel a little bit differently towards this.
Yeah.
But the kid was outside.
The kid was in the car. The mother,
that's why she sent the text to him. He did come in there with the gun.
Okay, that's premeditated. That's not some.
That's not premeditated. No, premeditated.
That's premeditated.
Premeditated.
Orchestrating. What she did. That's not normal. That's not imminent.
That was imminent
to what's going on. But for her to call him, and like you said, Mandrell, she's not covered.
Yep. No boyfriend, no husband, nothing. The only thing she has is her son.
So this turns into son husband type of thing. Like now you have to protect me, but at 14 years old,
that's not his job.
It's not his job, and he has blood on his hands. Okay, yeah. The charges were dropped. Why? I'm guessing because the man just hooked off on her. I don't know what type of justice system happened where they are.
I think it was public outcry. I'm really
trying to understand how the charges got dropped, because
I don't
understand why the police weren't called. Is it an area where the police just don't do nothing and they just the police ain't going to do nothing? So because a lot of times black folks like to fight other black folks with crime.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he did that.
You like to fight other people with crime and not necessarily where it hurts, like their pockets and I understand you don't want nobody beating up on your mom. I can understand that. Nobody wants to see anybody beating up on their mother. But at the same time, taking matters into your own hands and shooting the man, killing him, right? Then he ain't just shoot him in the toe. in the
Right.
ankle, in the calf.
Mm-hmm.
But
He killed him.
Yeah, he's
the whole
supposed
thing
to.
is, as
I
Manziel
agree with the
said,
young
as
lion's
Manziel
decision.
said, and in the training that he had, and I had some gun training to get my license as well. You do not pull out your firearm unless you're ready to kill somebody.
That's
You
it.
don't shoot for the toe. You don't shoot for the leg. You don't do
But
none
was
of
it
that.
his
Okay,
fire?
last time.
He's 14. So
Yeah,
Yes, it's
he's
his
not even supposed to
lady.
have a gun.
That's
He's
his
not supposed to have a
mother.
gun on him.
was
Hey.
it his firearm?
His mother's license.
Let's just say,
That's
His
not.
who
That's the
license?
mother didn't have it on. The
let's
kid
just
had
say,
it.
I
His
know.
So that's
mother's
already illegal
license.
right there.
And we know the white folks teach their children
But-
at 14 how to
but
shoot and do
that's my
everything.
Yep.
point.
Yeah,
Let's
But
mind
just
you.
we don't get that. I don't see black fathers taking their sons to the
well,
gun
I
range.
mean, whether
I
we
took my
can't.
daughter.
If
to
I,
the
listen, if I had Precious, if I have a child of my own, or if I even end up someday having a stepchild or something like that, they're gonna learn how to shoot as early as possible. They're gonna learn how to respect firearms. Yeah, they're gonna learn how to respect and operate a firearm correctly.
Right. So if you're registered and the gun is not registered to them, are you telling your child to go to the car to use it?
If I ain't got it on me for some odd reason, yeah, go. Hey, go get the blinky. Come back in, come back here and handle business. Listen, this lady is out there by herself. She can't handle us. She's not gonna beat that guy, even though the guy's half her size.
That's why she should have shut up to save herself.
Here's the thing, bro.
But
Words are just words.
No.
He has to control his
Words have meanings. Words have meanings. There's nowhere around.
Wait.
So what? You're not.
I hear both of y'all points, and quite frankly, nah, you gotta have more control over yourself. You can't sit there because guess
both
what?
of them, not just the guy, both of them.
No, the guy he
ain't hit her.
anticipated that
That's
she
different.
was a weak.
Yeah, I never said it.
He anticipated that she was a victim, and she turned out not to be that. And that's what we're sitting here having a discussion over. He anticipated he could just knock her out because he felt like it.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't the right
Which was wrong.
I'm not agreeing with the guy hitting her because he's a loose cannon, but she's a loose cannon because I don't have kids. But for whoever has kids on the panel, if you're in that situation, are you going to take it to that next level, or are you going to be like, I'm with my kid? This is not the time and place.
Let me ask you this question to answer your question. If a man who was 600 pounds came and he was ready to hook off on you, and your son came in, or you told your son to go get it, and your son came in and saved your life from that 600-pound man, are you going to feel the same way?
I would remove myself from that situation because I'm with my child. I don't want to put myself in a position to where I'm not going to be here or I'm going to be in prison looking at my child.
That's hindsight. You didn't remove yourself. You're in a place where a 600-pound man is about to pound you out. He swung on you already.
Pause.
And your man.
I mean, anybody could do hypotheticals.
No, but this ain't hypothetical. I'm actually doing a comparison and putting you in it. It's not a hypothetical. This is what happened, and it is, and I'm equivalating it because it's a 600-pound man versus you to a man of his height versus her. So I'm just, not even putting a hypothetical. I'm saying this happened. You are now being threatened by a 600-pound man who just swung on you because you was talking. Yo, you don't need to do that. Whatever the case may be, however it got there, he swung on you. And your child came in and saved your life by killing that man who was posing a threat to you and your son.
I would have told my child hopefully he was not going to go grab the gun. I'm going to take my lumps. Hopefully I don't cease to exist. I'm going to take my lumps and I'm going to go out there and regroup. Because obviously if me and another guy, if we're taking it there and we're at that level, obviously I accepted the duel. From talking back to the guy. If he's 600 pounds to 250.
You knew you had your weapon.
No, I'm talking about if I didn't have my weapon. It's just
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying you got your weapon in the car. It's
in the car. I would tell my child if he had it on him, I'll tell him no, don't do it. Because I don't know how stuff's gonna play out technically.
I can respect that, but I want to ask everybody else on the panel because I can respect.
Yeah, because I want to hear what he got to say.
Hank.
Yeah, I want to hear from Hank. Hank hasn't spoken since he's been
I
in.
think that young warrior that dude campaigned for them bullets, and he got elected. Keep your hands to yourself,
Brother man Hank.
What you got, Hank?
Hank?
Man, if y'all want to hear from me, y'all got to give me the opportunity to talk first. Y'all been talking, and this is just how far we fallen as our people. Listen to our answers to go shoot up with somebody, a person look just like us. That's the answer. To go shoot him. To go shoot him. That's the goddamn answer. So first things first, the dude was wrong for even getting to that lady, right? We understand that. But guess what? That 14-year-old boy was that man. No father, with a mother who's raised him. That's why he acted overly emotional and act just like a woman would. He acted like an overly emotional woman. That's why he acted, because that's what he learned. That's all he's been around. Probably ain't have a father in his goddamn life. So that's the way why he acted like they act. But yet, this woman who doesn't realize, like y'all say, he's covered. Oh, she's covered by her husband's son. That 14-year-old boy is her husband. She's not looking for no real man. She's not looking for a husband because she don't want to be told what to do. She don't want to be lack of control. She can control that 14-year-old husband of hers. She probably can't control a real man. Now, she could probably control that Pookie that she was talking to, right? She could hold over him. You ain't get no ass, and he'll probably go wither away like a dead flower.
Yep.
So she could control him, right? But a real man, she wouldn't be no control. So she was wrong because she put her son in this situation. She's selfish. Mm-hmm. She made a selfish decision by telling her son to go get her gun. That's selfish. So when you sit there and do something like that, should she be charged? Yes, she should be charged. And if I was the family of that dude, I want to be charged. Mm-hmm. I want the charge to be fair. And I'm going to charge that 14-year-old boy like an adult. Now, I know you're crazy. I don't care. He should be charged as an adult. Because when he pulled that gun out and shot that gun, he didn't make a child decision. He made a grown man decision. And so now you got to deal with grown man consequences when you made a decision to shoot. Y'all talk about this gun training? He didn't have no gun training. He had that backyard training. I don't think it's the first time he shot. Because he did it too easy to shoot a man. He did it too easy. He did it like he was familiar doing that thing. Mm. And how accurate he was? Yes. Yes. He had a lot of hood training. Mm-hmm. Oh, they got new stuff being released now, in case y'all didn't know that. Yeah, it's looking real bad for this heifer. So these charges are going to probably get pushed. Yeah. And we got to realize this is Chicago, the same city that sit there and it's that questionable boy, what's his name? That played in Empire.
Oh, Jesse Smollett.
And they believed in it was going to be charged. Yes. This is the same city that did that bullshit. You got to keep that in mind. This has been corrupt for a long time, ever since the day of Al Pacino.
Hank?
I'm not Al Pacino, but Al Capone.
Hank?
So this is nothing new for this city. Doing what they doing down there right now.
Hank?
That's why I thought it was crazy.
Again, if that was my child, I'm talking about that man. If I was a mother, I'm pushing these charges to be pressed. I'm not letting them get away with it. I don't care. Now, what you need to worry about is street justice now, because we know that's what they do in Chicago sometimes. They believe in street justice. That's the one we got to worry about. Now it could go into some big old thing back and forth.
Yep. The 14-year-old that survived now has a target on his back. He has a target on his back. You know, it's like you say, oh, well, that's the mission, and that's what you're supposed to do. And what happened to calling the police? I never got taught to just shoot somebody. Who?
Not the first step.
You know what I mean?
No, not the first step. No, not the first step. But I mean, again, people don't understand. This dude was so worried about, concerned, and focused on what he could do to her. He never thought about what she could do or have done to him. She didn't do it herself, but she had somebody do
But
it.
as quick as she told him to get the gun,
Hey,
she just said, "Call the police."
Exactly.
Call the
Here's the thing.
police. This
Here's
man
the
just
thing.
hit me.
But he's gone by the time the police get there.
There's cameras. The camera was in
Man,
the.
Still, no. Here's my thing. I feel nothing bad for this dude who got it. That young warrior gave this dude all he wanted.
Until it's your family member, though, man.
Hey, no. If it's your family, no.
Until it's your brother, your son, or your nephew, or a family member.
Hank,
you
say in this situation, no. If it is a blood relative that I care about, hey, he brought it on himself. What you want me to do? I can't go get no get back. You taking that option away from me because you asked for that. I can't hold them responsible for what they did to you. Again, people do not understand violence. Once you cross that barrier of violence, it goes where it goes, and you have no choice over that. That's one thing. That's one thing that war taught me. I can't worry about who got shot, who got blown up, why, and how. It ain't up to me. It's just war, and all war is violence. So once you cross the threshold of violence, this situation is going to go wherever it goes, and nobody knows that, and no one has any control over it. It's too random, too fast. So before you throw that punch, before you squeeze that trigger, think about it. Now, this dude should have thought about that before he threw that punch and punched that lady in the face. I'm fine with it. Now, the little 14-year-old boy, he's going to need therapy. He's going to need therapy. I'm with it. I'm with that. However, I don't think he did anything wrong, given the circumstances he was in. Look, and I'll back him up. He ain't doing wrong.
Said his family knew he was a menace. If he's a menace, there's more there's more of them. There's more of them. So he's not gonna only need counseling or therapy. He's gonna have to look over his shoulder. He's gonna have to be looking over his shoulder.
How do we know that?
Well, I mean, put it this way. I'll say, Hank, your point of view is very valid, and I can understand it. Mandrill point is very valid, and I can understand it. Because I put both shoes on. If somebody was talking to my daughter like that and was getting ready to punch, swung on my daughter, and regardless of how much my daughter mouthing off, and I'll check my daughter on that. I don't say she was in the right. I never, the woman was never in the right either. But if he hooks off on her and she protects herself through somebody else, her boyfriend, her son, whatever, am I going to be mad at the person who protected my daughter's life? Because let's just say he hooked off on her and started pounding her out and killed her. Then what are we talking? Then we got a whole nother, he could have did a different shit. Nah, he done pounded her out and killed her. He knocked her out. Her head hit the wall because she was talking out, and she dies. You gonna have the same story? Are you gonna be on his side?
Was she putting herself in a position to where she's inviting that type of drama?
We got so much sympathy. It's because it's a woman. Let's speak the elephant in the room. If that wasn't a woman and it was a man, it wouldn't have been an issue. This wouldn't be a conversation right now. But since it was a woman, this is why it's a problem.
But on which
it isn't. Not for me.
Black man, we wouldn't be having this conversation like
not for me. It wouldn't be. Look, here's the thing. If he punched another dude in the face, and the dude told his homeboy to go, hey man, go to the trunk, and he came back and shot. Okay, cool. You put your hands on buddy. You put your hands on buddy. Now it's one thing for us to argue. You and I could be screaming in each other's face, Hank, yelling at each other, fighting mad, and I could keep it right. As long as we keep it right there, fine. That's all it is. We could choose after the fact to not deal with each other anymore, or just say, "Hey, man, it was just an argument. We still cool." But once one of us hits the other, now it's something else differently.
So the
I don't
first
get.
thing
Hold
is
on.
to grab a gun.
My thing is, if I hit you in the face, passport, bro, I don't get to dictate to you how you respond to that. That ain't up to me. That's up to you now. I struck you first. And however you choose to deal with me after that,
the thing about it, the woman didn't dictate.
That's a
The child
10%.
did. The 14-year-old child dictated it. It wasn't the woman who dictated it.
And what
He
you
made
think
the
the 14-year-old,
decision.
all that boy knows is his mama's getting beat up. That's all he sees. That's all he knows. What do you
Again,
expect
at
him
the
to
same
do?
time,
The mom said, "Come
child-
inside and shoot the guy." That's what the mom said in the text. Something like
All
that.
right.
if that child was taught right, one of two things that child should have either did: pull the mother out of the situation,
Facts.
or try to jump in front of the situation and to deter for the man from doing it again.
But it was
So,
all
hey
after the
man,
fact.
back off
Hank.
my mama.
Come on, Hink. That dude was
No.
unstable. If he already put his hands
Exactly.
on her like that for talking, ain't no way that 14-year-old
No.
kid's gonna come in.
He's
Hey,
trying
leave
to-
my mama alone, and he gonna go, my bad.
I'm
babe."
saying.
He's trying to
No.
hound out the 14-year-old kid now. Stop it.
You can't get
Let's
that man.
realize.
Yeah. Again, once you cross the threshold of violence, Hank, all bets are off then. All
So y'all,
bets are
so y'all,
off.
are, so y'all are saying, so y'all are y'all saying, are you guys saying that it was okay for that 14-year-old to shoot that man?
No, I'm not saying that. No.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. You don't put your
I put
again
it this
like,
way. I don't say it's okay, but I understand it, and I don't hold him accountable. I hold her accountable. If I'm gonna hold any accountability, I hold her
100%. 100%. You don't need to. Okay.
And
Again,
you know the
like I
reason why
said,
we saying this? She's a woman.
nope.
No,
Not for me.
I just gave the example. If it was a 600-pound man against a 200-pound man, and somebody came and saved their life, no, it ain't about it's a woman. It's
No,
about
exactly. You bullying. Number one, you bullying. You picked on someone you thought was like Sean said. You thought that chick was a victim,
So he should die.
and so you picked up. Huh? My thing is,
He should die.
Yes, that's pretty much what
here's
he's
the thing.
saying.
Here's the thing. If he puts his hands on her the way he did, then you get what you get.
people have died.
You
from
could
less.
he could have got some harsh words and a good
Again,
talking to.
she's a
Hold
woman.
on, that
Listen to
14. Hold on, that 14-year-old boy could have came in there and beat him up. I'd have said the same thing. Hey, brother, you got what you got.
Okay.
But he got shot in this case. I'm like, okay, cool. Same answer. You
Let
get
me
what
throw
you
another
get.
hypothetical in. Let me throw another hypothetical that you might be
Again,
able to.
listen to
that
what
will
y'all the
debunk.
AI answer y'all gave.
Hold on.
Let me throw
Hey,
some hypotheticals
one
in.
of the
that will
answers y'all
debunk-
gave out was
I didn't hear you.
He's going in and out.
He's froze up.
Woman.
Yeah.
if she wasn't a woman.
Oh man, he's going in and out.
No, that's not the case for me, Hank. If it was a man, Hank, if someone coming in there who's twice your size and just bullying you around, taking your J-pop stuff and your Batman paraphernalia and stuff like that, I come in and help you kick his ass. You don't get to come over here and just treat somebody like that because you think.
And if you had a firearm, would you shoot him?
Yeah, if he's beating up on Hank, yeah, you done. You've crossed the threshold into violence. You don't get to dictate
as a
the
man,
outcome.
so seeing violence happening to another man, you would result to a firearm and not
bullying.
That's not bullying. That's engaging in combat. That's not bullying.
Bullying is bullying to me. You don't pick on someone just because you think you can. Here's my thing. Like I could.
No. Bullying is when somebody's retreating, and then the person is still being aggressive. She was not retreating. She was engaging.
No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't.
Yes, she was. That's why she kept talking smack back.
You got
to said, "Shut up."
Again,
she kept going. That's not bullying.
Hold on, that ain't her daddy. He don't get to tell her what to do. Okay, you understand? That's another grown person.
Well, like I said, then she has to understand the consequences of her talking smack. And like I said, the only reason why she felt comfortable is because she knew that she had her attack dog, and then she knew that she had her gun on her.
As well, she should.
Let's give another.
Well, that's why. One of the last points I was trying to make was that for men to open up their eyes and then see that women are not so innocent, and to protect yourself at whatever cost. If you're about to engage and you're with a female, have your stuff on you, and if you feel any kind of if you feel anything, pull your stuff out just in case, because you can always address it later.
Right. Here's the thing. I don't want people to misunderstand me. I understand what you guys are saying, and I agree. What I'm saying is both of our points are true. The woman should not have antagonized that guy as much as she did. She should have kept her mouth shut. She could have just de-escalated the situation. She should have done all that and protected her son from this entire ordeal. You know what I'm saying? Like any woman that I'm going to be with, I'm expecting her to protect me in that way. You know what I'm saying? Because if I see someone coming after her that way, I'm going to respond with the appropriate force, if force is necessary. But that's why for me, violence is always the last case scenario. It's the last option I go to because I know full well that if I engage in violence, this might not turn out the way I want it to.
But there's different
I
forms
might
of
not,
violence.
even if I'm even if I'm in the right, I might not be here no more.
There's different
So
forms of
before I
violence.
do it,
If I'm fisticuffs with somebody, I mean, if the second thing, this can't be pull out a freaking gun.
This-
Maybe
no,
we might fight, and then we might
you.
de-escalate it then. It can't be this
See,
fight
that's
and
the
then.
thing. I agree with you. But that's principle though. That's honor. Me, if you and I engage in fisticuffs, that's where I'm leaving it. It's hand to hand, no weapons, and we just okay. Two men got a point. One man proves it. Everybody walks away home at the end. You know what I'm saying? However, if we're engaging in violence and someone pulls out a gun, that's just how this situation turned out. It's violence. It's random. It's unforgiving. It has no code. That's why you and I, as men, have to have a code.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's more important that you and I have to have a code. If I'm coming at you, Sean, with no weapon, and we fighting, I'm trusting you, even though this is an exercise in violence, I'm trusting you to not pull out a weapon and use it on me. Same as you, I hope.
Right.
But you got some people out there, and like I said, violence is just that. Everybody don't have that code, man.
You said a great thing.
She's a woman.
Yeah, I was gonna spin it.
Again, that's the only reason why I got to that point, and that's why she's getting the pass she's getting because she's a woman. Y'all even said it. Why did one of them men help her?
No, she's masculine. She's masculine. I'm not helping no masculine woman out.
I would have, man.
Don't help that man.
I'm not helping no masculine woman out.
You know what we would have did? We probably would have sit back and pulled out our cameras and watched.
I wouldn't.
No. Did you see? There was an older gentleman that was within the camera's range. He
was out
and walked.
He was out.
Yep.
He said, "Look, my days on this earth might not be long. Let me get up out of here. Okay, let me get up out of here."
Yo, I was going to put this spin on it. And I want to ask y'all a question. We just saw the City Girls. If that was little Uzi Vert who threw his phone at her and she pulled out and shot him,
we know how it's going to turn out.
How would we feel?
It's not how we would feel. Is the mass media? They're gonna paint her as the victim, or Uzi must have did something. He did something like that. She felt threatened. Blah 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 blah. She's justified. That's pretty much how it's always gonna turn out.
She would be wrong. She would be wrong.
She'll be wrong morally.
She would be wrong.
She
would be wrong.
I don't.
But he's the one who screamed on her, punched her in the face. Now we.
That's again once you go to violence, it's different now. It's no longer what it used to be. It's no longer an argument or a confrontation.
I guess
now it's violence. I mean, that's different.
Nobody's got time for conflict resolution. This is where we got straight.
He should have resolved it. He should have. He should have resolved it before he punched her in the face. That's my point. He didn't. That's why I hold him more responsible than the woman.
For her to be certain,
he should have resolved that.
How is he responsible for her? You don't know her.
All about your business. Stop talking to me. That's his way of conflict resolution. Now we all know that's not a good way to do it. By cussing out, tell her, go on about your business.
Wait.
Don't stop talking to me.
Wait.
We know that's not the best way. And yet, at the same time, she had to use none at all.
But wait.
Her best method was to turn around, do what she needed to do, or walk up at her, come back after you see this man go out. Hey, I need to get my order. I know you seen this, what was going on. I didn't have time for this shit. Let me come back and check in. I'll call and say, hey, I'm gonna come get my order after this motherfucker's gone.
She could have done that, but who's the leader in this situation? The man or the woman?
What do you mean? Who's the leader?
Who's supposed to be the leader in this situation?
You can't lead no hyena.
They was all women. They all act like women in that situation.
Yeah, there you go. So what are we talking about here? As a woman or woman?
I seen nothing but men in there. None but men in that situation.
Then if it's man on man, then you certainly don't have anything to complain about in this situation.
Hey,
it's just two bulls working some shit
out all around. It was
everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong in this situation except the young man.
But the bigger
he wasn't wrong.
But the bigger picture that
hey, some new information's coming out, guys. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't think that's the end of that story. I think it's just like the JT Lil Uzi, how they try to just put something out there to just say, oh, well, she couldn't find her seat, and so that's why she went off on him. I think that there is going to be more stuff on this story, because to say that they dropped the charges,
That's just a bad president.
the way that this got social media coverage, I think it was for them to kind of simmer it down a bit, for everybody to kind of back off of it. But I think that there is going to be more to this story. I don't think that they just going to just straight up just drop the charges off of a man off of a 14-year-old killing another man, especially based off of the audio. The audio, you know, you hear her say, not in this video that I have, but on the videos that are online, you hear her say, "Go after her."
She did? Oh wow.
Yeah, you hear her, you know, she does tell her son to shoot the man. They chase after him after you already shot him once.
You supposed to.
But
you're supposed to do that,
he
Precious.
ain't in war, man.
No, you're not.
He's not
Precious.
trained. Nobody gave him orders.
I get it, but I'm not saying that. Here's the thing. Here's how you have to think of it. Here's how you have to think about it. Okay, say, okay, Precious, you're a woman. Let's say someone runs afoul at you and you with your dude. He comes in, he pops the guy, right? Now, here's how the man, in my opinion, should think of this. He may see me or you 6 months down the road, out in the middle, out somewhere in the mall or wherever you hang out at. Remember the situation, goes to his trunk and comes at you with a tool, okay? And then he does what he thinks he should have done that night. I can't give you that chance. I have to deal with you now.
But you're only allowed to do that.
You're not getting that chance.
This is Wild Wild West. Is this how we handle it?
You ain't getting that chance.
You're only allowed to do that in the moment.
Yes, you are.
Okay, I want to say something. Come on, guys. Let me get a word in here.
Everybody ain't playing.
That's
my point. Everybody ain't playing.
A really quiet corner of the country, right? And when I hear news about Chicago, it's a freaking war zone. That 14-year-old grew up in a violent atmosphere, and he's been trained how to deal with it, and his mama made sure. When she said, go get the gun, he's been growing up in this atmosphere, and it was created by pookies like the guy that was attacking her. Generational pookies.
Don't make it right.
And he took care of the problem that was threatening his mama.
Exactly.
And I can't say that it wouldn't be any different over here, because where I live, men that threaten women and children in public do not get mercy. That man, you don't hold a 14-year-old accountable for his emotions because he's a freaking hormone explosion. But that man standing there acting like everybody's supposed to bow to his biceps, dude, you're freaking roadkill.
What biceps?
Well, I'm just bringing it up. He thought
he was 109 pounds.
I know, he's like a $125 soaking wet. I mean, shit. But anyway, no, I mean, that 14-year-old grew up in a war zone, and that pookied the wrong family, and it cost him his life.
There you go. You put your hands on somebody. Everybody ain't playing out here, people.
Well, not everybody's a punching bag, and they're not interested in being one. I mean,
exactly.
We got 80-year-olds over here with 9mm in their pockets, because over here, we are not punching bags. You may not wake up. More likely, you're not gonna. It's better not to face them in the courtroom. If you don't face them in the courtroom, it's problem over.
Exactly. I ain't got to deal with
it. You end it right there. Let the cops clean up the mess.
But he was getting away. No, I can't give you a chance to come back and get some get back. You don't get that opportunity. I don't know what you see. You punched my mother in the face in public. I don't know what you're capable of now.
Corey, I got a question.
You know what I'm saying? I have the opportunity to end that. That is self-defense.
You keep trying to spin. That's not self-defense.
That's self-defense.
No, it's not. If the person is running away after you shoot him, if you shoot him one time and you allow him to run away, you can't say, I was still scared, so I ran after him to shoot him.
But it's a 14-year-old kid with a gun. His emotions are going crazy. He will get off.
Right.
Corey, I got a question.
That's not self-defense. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's
not self-defense.
It's not like he just ran to the car and did it.
He's still going to get off even if his mama goes to jail because he's 14.
Right. And Corey, I got a question.
Not if they charge him as an adult.
Were you ever in the military, Corey?
You shouldn't.
No.
Okay, I was just wondering because I wanted to know if you and Matt had that in common.
No,
I think you were.
I've been using guns ever since I was like 8 years old or younger. I
Okay.
grew up
See?
around animals. When you're dealing with a violent animal, where I'm from, you just shoot the damn thing. You don't
Thank
try to
you.
you don't make friends with it. You put the damn thing down.
And to
God
be honest
damn.
with you, what you just said is the
Now we're looking at the
mentality
boy as
of
an animal.
yeah,
God damn.
I mean, Hank,
Goddamn right.
Boy,
and
this
See,
is
that's
what
why
we come
Corey, my
to.
boy.
Hank,
This is what we
seriously,
come to. This is
Hank,
what we come to.
seriously, this whole country has been based on that mentality, and it's a real thing.
Yeah, it is a
Well,
real thing. That's why you're not getting the
I
things
Let
gotta
me
that
tell
explain
people.
you.
to you what you're all saying. That means every black man, you are a goddamn animal. And they
No,
will treat you
That's
regardless
it.
if you
Every
are or not.
person who
No, no,
That's
no,
how
no,
you
no,
are
no.
looked at.
That's
This is what
no,
we're saying. This is
no
exactly what we're
no.
saying.
men.
Every black man is an
Here,
animal.
no.
No,
And if
Here's
he gets
no,
upset
Hank.
or irate, we'll put
Hank,
his ass goddamn down.
No, Hank. Every
Hank.
person who is out, who
Every
is out
man
of
has the
control.
potential.
Exactly.
E-
Every man
No,
who's
no,
out
no.
of control,
Every
not
man
Here's what
has
black.
the
I'm saying.
potential to be an
Tell you
animal.
what I'm saying.
We got a
You saying
history
this
over
black
here of
man is
white
a
men that were
goddamn
absolute
animal.
animals.
Put it down.
Wait, Hank.
No,
no,
there's
that's
white
not
men
what
that
we're
have been
saying, Hank.
animals all through history,
Well, I
and
understand
they
what
get,
you're saying, but I'm talking.
you
We're
know,
not talking about a white man right now.
But
We're
Hank,
talking about this black man.
let me
but
And
put
we
he's
this.
just a
saying his ass
man.
animal.
I mean,
His color, his,
We're not talking about conflict
no, it
resolution.
can't be a race thing.
I was
No,
He's a man.
gonna say
unfortunately, that's what it
He's just
is.
a man.
Hank,
That's
I
not
was
how
gonna
he's
say
looked
this
at.
earlier. Hank, I was gonna ask this point earlier before I gave the woman point. I was gonna say this point. If it was a KKK person who did the
Ooh.
same thing, said, "Yo, I'm gonna tell you one more time, nigga lady, if you don't shut your mouth, I'm going to punch you in your face on this country. I swear on this flag, I'm gonna punch you in your face." And she
So
kept talking,
you
and
gave
he
me a
punched.
description of a man who moves in hate. He moves in
Okay,
hatred.
wait.
He's a violent person. He
I
hates.
don't. So now I
Again,
don't
you
care.
can't
I
use
don't
that as a
care
scenario.
if you putting
Every
your
black
hands
man
on
doesn't
somebody.
hate.
If you putting your hands on the woman for because you can't control your emotions, that's hateful. So why are you
It
not
is.
Why are you not embracing it from that standpoint?
That's not it's not hate.
You know,
Because
Hank,
we don't know why you put some reasons why some men put hands on women. We don't
there's
know.
actually a sheriff Plummer in my mom's side of the family, goes back to the 1800s. He was sheriff in one county and he robbed from all the neighboring counties. And when they hung him, he said, "I'm too mean to die," but his neck broke just as easy. He was an animal and he
This
needed
is
to
what we're
die.
saying.
And he was a sheriff.
Every goddamn black man is an animal.
No, he's a white man.
He
Come
wasn't
on.
talking about a black man.
My God.
I'm not talking about your scenario. I'm talking about this scenario.
But the whole thing is,
Well, it was real life.
This
So
is the reason.
we're not
This is the reason why I
encouraging
threw in.
conflict resolution. We encourage mutual combat. And since I'm getting the
Hank,
best of this one,
this
I'm
country
gonna go
is
get my gun.
Hank.
Get a gun.
Wait, let me
Why we get a gun? Because we're gonna kill this animal.
Like he just gave the example, if it was a ferocious white police officer who is a sheriff taking advantage of their authority or their physical ability or whatever the case may be, and he got killed, do you feel the same way? Because I do not.
You said I didn't hear what you said. You
said
if there was a ferocious,
if it was a ferocious sheriff, like he just said, who was
his name was Sheriff
out
Plummer
there,
in
who was
Montana.
out there doing.
You can Google the guy.
Right, who was out there saying to this woman, "Yo, shut your mouth, because I am the officer and I don't care what you say. You better listen to me." And she said, "Nah, don't talk to me like that." And he said, "Whatever, I'll punch you in your face right now." And he went and he grabbed her, trying to put her in cuffs and beat her up. And the son came in and killed that officer. Would you feel the same way?
Let me tell you I'm gonna tell you the same way. Like I said before, conflict resolution. Allow yourself to get put in cuffs. Go to jail. But guess what I'm going to do when I get out? I will call my legal representation, my lawyer, and I will file a grievance and a complaint against this officer.
And here's my issue with that,
I will
Hank.
file a lawsuit against this officer.
Here's my issue with that, Hank. Here's my issue with that. I want you to hear this loud and clear. I want you. Wait, Hank. I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are sitting there premeditatedly thinking that you are going home. Wait, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
This scenario you just said, it happened to
Hank,
So
listen to
that's
what
how
I'm saying.
that's why
Listen
I
to
can
what
answer
I'm
this
saying,
question.
Hank. I'm not
That's why I
talking
can
about.
make this statement because I've lived this. What you just sit there saying.
Listen,
You heard what you
you
said.
didn't even hear what
I
I
lived.
said. Hank, you ain't even hear what I said. So you ain't
You said
lived
a
it.
ferocious
So
sheriff
listen to
came up
what
to
I'm
me.
saying, Hank. Because
Okay,
what I
man.
was saying is, suppose you are sitting there anticipating that you're able to come home. Suppose they killed you. How would you? What would be? Tell me your answer now. You're dead. Ain't no court case.
You didn't throw that in a
No,
scenario,
this is my
man.
point because you
You
sitting
said
there
he
anticipating that you're
no. You said
anticipating
that
that you're getting home safely. And what we're
listen
trying to
what
tell you is you
I heard what
can't
you're saying. I heard what
anticipate
you're
that.
saying. I
All
heard
right,
what you're saying.
guys. All right, guys.
I
Let's
heard
move
what
on to the
you're
next topic. Let's move on to the
saying.
next topic because we're going in
You
circles.
sit there and gave the scenario of the option to get locked up. And my son, I'm gonna tell my son, go on back to the car.
I didn't
Call
say
you out.
locked up. I said he put you in handcuffs. I never said you
Okay.
came out
Again,
alive.
that's what
I
I'm
never
telling
said
you.
you came out alive.
But
I
listen,
just said he put you in handcuffs. He was
you never said I.
ferocious.
You
I
never
didn't say.
said he
I said
deceived
he
me.
punched you in
You
your
never said
face.
I. You never said I didn't come out alive.
Right, but you're
You
assuming
said
that you
get
did.
locked up.
But you're
You said I
assuming.
would get
I didn't
locked
say
up.
nothing about locked up. I said he put you in handcuffs because he was a ferocious person and he
Okay.
beat you down. I didn't say
Okay.
that you lived. You said you lived.
Well, guess what? Let me explain to you again. My son and my daughter and my granddaughter is going to benefit off my life lost
Okay.
because they're going to go to my legal representation, and they're going to represent me, and they're going to sue the police and the police department. That's what they're going to do. I'm not. My life shouldn't go in vain.
Well,
And
then
it's
guess
not.
what?
So again, I'm gonna tell my son, you got too much goddamn to live for. Take
That's
your
where
ass in the car and call your mother.
And respectfully, that's where we differ because I would have much preferred to
Okay, but
have my life.
I understand what you're saying.
I would much
I
prefer
understand
to
what you're
have my
saying.
life
And again,
and fight it with my
kill.
son
Every
than.
black man is an animal. That's what we're saying. Treat them as such.
No, I'm saying that I would.
So why are we having sympathy for this boy then? Because he act like an animal-like mentality. He not only shot once, he shot multiple times. He went out the store and continued to shoot.
Are we
He
protectors
should be
or not?
charged as an adult.
That's
Fuck
not
that
protection.
boy.
That's not protecting.
Fuck that boy. Charge
How
him
you
as a
figure that's not
goddamn.
protecting?
I have no
Okay.
sympathy for
All
him.
right.
Because he ran after him to keep shooting him after he was running away. The threat was inside the store.
Now,
Outside of the store, come on, man.
I tell
What are
you,
we saying?
Passport, to your point, I'm not arguing that point. That's something that I ain't
No,
even.
but that's what was talked about. Mandrell said it.
But I agree.
Mandrell did not say that.
But here's the flip to that. He was taking orders by his mother. We have officers and so wait. We have officers. Wait. We have officers and soldiers who take orders from their commanding officers, and they
You
do
don't have to
worse
take
than
the
that.
order. You don't have to take the order. They can give you the order. You don't have to take it. If I'm in the army and then my drill sergeant tells me to go take out a whole family, to go take out an innocent family, I'm like, they don't have any weapons, and
It's
you're like,
not
why?
innocent. It's not innocent. He's telling you to
I'm not going.
disarm
I'm
the threat.
not going to do it because if they are
telling you to
unarmed,
disarm the
why am
threat.
I going to do that just because he told me to do it?
Officers, please. I ain't been in the military, so help me out on that one.
I'm not. Like I said, I'm not in the military. I'm just because
Mandrell left. But we have some new guests, guys. So we're gonna welcome them and see what they have to say, and then we're gonna move on to the next topic. So welcome, B. Vassar, Chicago Gorilla, and Big Jizz Competition. Did I say that right?
Giz.
Giz.
Giz. Alrighty.
I won't do that to myself.
Welcome. Okay. I didn't know. People in these internet names, man. It could go either way. I'm sorry. Lo siento. All right, guys. So, what do you guys have to offer in the conversation before we move on to the next topic? I want to give you guys an opportunity to speak.
Go ahead, composition.
All right, then. Well, it was an example I wanted to bring to your attention down where I stay at. It's way different from the store situation. I was just looking at it a little more logical. So it was a judge. He stayed in a nice little house, and somebody kicked in his door to try to rob him. He shot one of them, and the other guy ran away. He didn't chase after that other person, but when they went in, he took him out. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no conflict resolution at that point. Once it got to somebody invaded his space. So it's certain times where you can do conflict resolution. Like I was in a situation where this guy was high on some cocaine or whatever, and he had a gun on me. And it was a situation where he was trying to make sure I didn't snitch on him and stuff like that. And I had to kind of talk him down from pulling the trigger. At that point, I had nobody to go out to the car and get me no blicky or nothing like that to shoot him. So I had to use conflict resolution. But if the situation was a whole nother way where I had something on me or I had some kind of help or something like that, it wouldn't have been that. I mean, sure, I don't look at people as animals just because of color of their skin or anything like that. But we do have animal characteristics. The way he hit that lady, he could have killed her. He could have hit that lady in the wrong spot and she could have died. You hit my dad like that and he got dementia or anything like that, you can pretty much take him out right now. It just depends on the age of the person and where you hit them at. So that's what I got for you on that subject.
Okay, thank you. Chicago Rilla.
What's up, family?
Hello. It's in and out. No, it's not a straight stream. You're in and out.
Can you hear me now?
Choppy.
No, it's choppy.
I'm going to come again.
All right, come back. All righty. All right, it's on you, Brock.
Yeah, I think first of all, hello to the panel and to you, Precious. Everybody has valid points. There's a thing called situational ethics. What do I do in the given situation? I identified with everything that's been said. Basement, I have premeditated. I have one daughter. I think I showed the picture last week. I have premeditated most of my life. When my daughter was born, I made sure, this is God truth, the first word she learned was daddy. I would go to sleep with her on my chest. And we know that children have a closer relationship with mothers because of the physical attachment and all of that. But I taught her, I sat her down and we both watched what love got to do with it. I don't have to go through that. How Tina was dogged out. And no, she didn't understand everything. But what she could understand, I said, if a man ever, and all of y'all are much bigger than me, but it doesn't make me any less of a man. And I identified with the bullying too. But I told her and I taught her, if a man ever puts his hand, I'm going to Angola. I live in Louisiana. I'm going. And I will turn myself in. I have always said the biggest hoe in town deserves my respect. She's a woman. And I know a woman's mouth is like a constant dripping of water sometimes. They don't know how to shut up and they push the envelope because they understand and they want to see how much we can take without punching them, without doing some type of violence. But once my hand touches somebody, the whole scenario changes. And I am no longer responsible for another person's reaction. There's a principle, and y'all know it, sowing and reaping. What you sow, many times we get back more than what we expected. And yes, that's what the mentality is. of this millennial age. They're acting like savages. And the first thing they will tell you, I don't care. And when a person has stopped caring, and there's a lot of reasons for that, I won't even dare try to deal with that. When a person does not care, they are dangerous to themselves first. And when they're dangerous to themselves, what you think they think about the next person? That's what we are living in. Somebody, and this is I'm gonna land my plane, my helicopter, or whatever you want to call it. Hypotheticals. That was my brother with the dreads. I don't know if we understand, but our hypotheticals are our reality now. Our hypotheticals are our reality, especially in our community. That's all I got to say tonight.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys' input and perspective on that topic. We're going to move on to the next video. Chicago.
I did have one more point.
Okay.
Technically, or somewhere around the situation. So, the bigger picture that I'm looking at with this whole situation, since all the charges are dropped, is for like men who want to date women who have children and can kind of be in a tense argument or for whatever, and the situation could almost be life threatening if you're just having a simple disagreement and child has some animosity, or the mother tells the son to go and handle business or take him out. I mean, for the guys that are still single, how do y'all feel about being in that situation with a single mother that you're dating in that type of situation?
I'm single, and the way that I would feel from what you just described is, one, is threatening to me if in fact I didn't put my hands on her, and she's asking, she's now risking my life as somebody. I think you said it earlier, she was being very selfish, and I can't deal with somebody who is being selfish like that. I can understand selfishness, but I can't condone it. And selfishness is not self-preservation. If I put my hands on her, that's self-preservation. That's not selfish. And I can understand that. But if you're being selfish and saying, oh, you don't talk to me, and he come and pull out a gun on me because she's in her feelings, that's threatening to me, to her, to him, and I will remove myself.
Yeah, I say the same thing, because dealing with the modern woman that has a child, some of them will put you in that situation, especially if they don't respect you or they're not getting their way or whatever. Just like the case with the football player, the Travis Rudolph, where he didn't put his hands on her, but she felt the need to send her brothers to go and take him out, and then 2 years of his life is gone. Thousands of dollars on lawyer fees, and then luckily the jury found him not guilty. So, but yeah, I mean, I think I don't think for men, it's like seeing how she got off completely with no charges. It's just a shock that you kind of gotta be more apprehensive in seeing is that whole situation even worth it going into it, especially since you have to deal with a plus a woman and a guy, a woman, guy, and a child. So I don't know if it's really worth it in the long run.
All right, Chicago is back.
All right, y'all can hear me better now?
Way better.
Okay, all right, my bad. I was trying to rush to get to the crib, man. I was really screaming at y'all.
You get off that Obama phone, you sound a lot better, brother.
Yeah.
Government phone.
Welcome to the platform, Chicago Villa. What do you want to add to the conversation?
Hey, I got a question. How many of y'all on the panel live in like a major city or a big city?
I'm from New York and I live in LA.
Okay.
I'm in Orlando, Florida, and I've been majority of my life in South Florida.
Originally from Oakland, California.
Okay. And the reason why I'm asking this is because I'm hearing a lot of conversation around what happened. Let me say this off top. I'm not moved either way. Like, I'm not mad, I'm not upset, I'm not happy, I'm not disappointed. It just, I'm looking at the situation, and a lot of times in these situations, my position is, let me hear everything. Let me hear everything that comes out first. And when this first happened, people were jumping out the window. She's a single mother. She's a bad mom. She ain't got no man. None of that information came out. That woman had been sitting in the jail for, I think, for a week before the story even kind of really broke. And let me say this, where that incident took place, it's literally 9 blocks from where I grew up. It's 9 blocks from my house. I hate that that man lost his life, but I understand why he did. I hate that the son had got involved, but I understand why he did. I hate that the mama couldn't pipe down, right? But I'm from that area. I understand why she didn't back down. I'm not saying she right, wrong, and indifferent, but I understand it. And these are the nuances of this comment. When we having these type of conversations, like I said in the comments, that man, he's one of the menaces in Roseland, one of many. It ain't that his family necessarily are menaces as well. A lot of times he's terrorizing them too. These people be terrorizing them too. So you got to count the cost. When you in the big city, or especially in particular when you in Chicago, if you're on the south side, if you in Inglewood, if you in Roseland, if you in Chatham, if you're on the west side, and you think you're gonna run up on anybody like it's a sweet lick, no, it's everybody. EBK, anybody can get it. And that's unfortunate that happened to that dude. And guess what? It still won't send the message that need to be sent. Keep your hands to yourself and keep your mouth closed. Handle your business. Go get your food and go home. And it's sad that we can't do that. And Hank, I got a little bit of pushback. That dude, whoever was up here saying, making the correlation around the animals, it wasn't that he was saying every black man, or you know, that's not what I heard. What I heard was, and this is the part where we got to get real, and this is why, you know, some people may take this as a surprise when I say this, but for people that's out here acting like animals, fam, they got to be dealt with. And I'm not saying the ultimate equalizer in terms of taking somebody's life. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we got to address it. What happened in that store, nobody addressed. Not one man said, hey, fam, calm down. Not one person stepped in and said, hey, sis, chill out. Nobody. They sitting up there taping it. So to me, this is really where we have devolved to as a people, that we don't even step in and take up for the least among us. And we just videotape it and put it on World Star and let them make money. Now, in terms of the charges getting dropped, I'm still waiting for the egg to drop. I want to hear everything. Why did the charge get dropped? The only thing they have said so far, the only thing they said is more information came out. And that's why they dropped the charges. Now, everybody could speculate, oh, it was public outcry. Oh, it was this. I don't even think it was public outcry, because the dude that took the gentleman young life, with the Marine that took that young man's life in New York with that chokehold, he got millions towards his defense fund.
Oh,
wow.
Right? This young lady and her son, the whole weekend, we ain't did nothing but demonize them. They'll run to the defense of their own off top without, I ain't got to have all the facts. I just need to know he was there and he was doing what we think is right that you should do. We overcomplicate stuff, man. We like all of a sudden we watch a little bit of NCIS and a little bit of Judge Mathis, and we Harvard law professors now. We sitting up here talking about well, they had a duty to retreat. Well, this person had the right to stand their ground. Man, if you don't know Illinois gun law, you can't really speak on it. That lady had a FOID car. She was licensed to carry. Well, she couldn't send her son to get. Well, they would charge her with that. If that was the case, they would have charged her with that. They would have charged the team. There's a reason why. So we just need to let this unfold. Like we got to relax when we having some of these conversations, man. We got to have it with an objective lens and an objective view. That's all I got. I was cussing at y'all in the car. I got all my cussing out. I was
on this subject. I think he should drop the mic right there and move.
Well, You did
Well,
such an excellent.
I said it even before, because listen to what how everybody was trying to handle it like this. I said, where's the conflict resolution?
Yeah.
What was that at? That should have been the first thing first. Do we know that there are gonna be some girl dudes who act like the way he act? Yeah, he act like over emotional female man. That's how he act to me, and he responded and carried on to such. But why wouldn't the mother, knowing I have a child and knowing I gotta worry about my offspring is in that car and I need to get home to her, and I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to get home to her. That's how we was all taught. I taught my son. He's driving now. Do what you got to do to get home. I don't care what that police officer asked you to do, long as you're not going to do something that's going to cost you your life. Do what you got to do to get home, and then let me or your mother handle it from there. You call me.
Tell you why, Hank.
If you feel any danger or feeling any threat, you call me, and I'll be there. And then we'll handle it from there.
I'm going to tell you why, Hank.
Try to get into a verbal altercation, you're not going to win that one, dog.
I'm gonna tell you why it went that way though, and that's why I said I don't agree with it. I don't condone it, but you can't. The mentality in Chicago is once it get to that level, you can't back down. You a Vic, you a sweet lick at that point. So she don't know what could have. She could have backed down from dude and went out.
Somebody don't want to take that L. I understand.
Right, they not finna take that out. Somebody, I think, Precious, you was talking about how why they didn't call the police. And that's why I put in the comment, what's the clearance rate for police solving crimes and all this, that, and the third in Chicago? What's the clearance rate? It's extremely low.
It's probably
extremely low.
And that's
so
probably
if
why
she
that
trusted,
wasn't the first
listen,
recourse.
the police station, this happened on 116th and Halsted. The police station is on 111. It's right down the hill. Okay. If she trusted that she'd be able to call the police, she wouldn't carry the gun. If she trusted that they would come and do something and protect her, she wouldn't have no need for the gun, right? So what I'm saying is, I see, brother, I see you is like, what are you saying? What I'm saying is, because we don't trust the police here is why you have so many people carrying guns. It's literally, before I went back to work, right? I literally just dropped my homeboy off on 96 in Loomis. I'm sitting up there talking as I'm dropping him off from work, and I'm talking to him, Did you hear? I said, yo, because we didn't know if it was fireworks. I said, yo, they shoot? He's like, yeah, man, I'm used to it now. That's what it is. The mentality is different here. So we can't come with a suburban lens or a safety net lens and look at these situations. These people have to deal with something completely different, which is why people think when I get in these spaces and I hear something about Chicago and I'm coming up because I want to just defend myself. It's not that. It's when we are having these conversations, we're not doing it from an objective. We finger pointing, picking up talking points that we continue to hear in the mainstream media, and it's not helping us at all. So that's all I had. I'm done cussing y'all out.
Well, I have a question for you, because we do have these platforms, we do have these conversations, and we try to have conversations that are led to resolutions. So what would be the resolution if the police aren't trusted? They're not going to come in time. You guys don't trust it that they're going to handle situations correctly. What would be the resolution? What would you tell the mass majority of the people that live in Chicago about what's going on and how they can protect themselves? Or, what would you tell them?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So my message in my conversation is always with men. I'm not even addressing women. I believe that women should be addressing women. And so there's plenty of sisters that are boots on the ground. There are plenty of organizations for women that are boots on the ground doing the work here. So I'll leave that for them. But when it comes to the men, I love what they're doing in Detroit with New Era Detroit and Zeke and them boys. They taking it back old school. The men, we have to step up and police our own. If you look at what New Era Detroit is doing, when something pop off in the neighborhood, if an elder gets handled a particular way or a girl comes up missing, they about 20, 30 deep, combing the neighborhood looking for who's the culprit. And they catching them and they taking them to the police personally. That's Big Zeke out there doing that in Detroit, man. That stuff don't get enough coverage. I was just in Inglewood Saturday, and I'm disappointed that it didn't get more coverage. But my man Fatal, who's with Think Outside the Block, he does this rolling piece where it's about 300-400 people riding through Inglewood. Inglewood is like where Lil Durk and them came from, right? And it's heavy gun violence over there. And one of the tenets of what they're doing is trying to keep the kids physically active, stimulate their mental, and then show up in the hood with a heavy presence. 300-400 people riding through the block at night at 8 o'clock at night. It's an 8-mile ride through the hood. Right. And so these are the things that we got to start doing. We got to change. We got to tell our own story. It's when you talk about what is the solution, it's not necessarily either or this is the magic bullet. It's a number of things. And what I'm choosing to do, instead of trying to create another program to get a government grant and beg somebody to help us, there are people that are doing the work on the ground, and that's who I'm lending my support and my voice and my money and my time and my energy and my efforts to. Right?
Thank you. Salute to you for being a part of the solution and
Drop
not
the mic,
part
bro.
of the problem.
Yeah, drop it.
That's what we need more of that, right? We need more of that. All right, so we're gonna go to the next topic, y'all. Shake it off, shake it off. I know we're talking about violence and stuff. Shake it off because we about to move on over to love. We're gonna move on over to love, okay? We need a little bit more love. All right, so we're gonna move on over to that topic. And this, I believe, they are called. Geez, I always forget the name of their.
A lot of men make the mistake of
relationship. They have like these conversations about relationships and different perspectives. And I thought this one was interesting on the men's panel. I definitely want to hear you guys' perspective as men, because, you know, we talk about men being the leaders and things like that. But I want to hear your perspective on this particular video.
I think a lot of men make the mistake of believing that their wife should just trust them to be the leader because they hold that title of husband. But every day you really got to go out and prove yourself. Like I would see people talk about, well, the Bible says submit. The Bible says the man is the head of the household. And yes, that's true. But how often does your wife see you open up that same Bible that you use to tell her how to be a better wife, to become a better man? Like how often does she see you read in general to elevate your mind? How often does she see you doing things to educate yourself? And I'm not talking about a formal education where you got to go back to school, but educating yourself on the type of things that's going to allow you to become a better husband, a better dad, a better man, a better leader. Because we have to be able to build up that trust. And I try to do that with you every day, where you're comfortable taking your hand off the wheel because you know I'm not going to crash you or crash our family into a ditch. We got to stop expecting that our wives are just going to trust us to lead when we're not showing them that we have the capability to actually lead.
All righty. So I wanted to play that video because in 2023, we talk about the modern man, the modern woman. But what do you guys think about that video in regards to men expecting women to follow their lead, but they're not necessarily doing things to show that they are in practice of being a leader?
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Not go because I'm gonna have to run quickly.
Go ahead.
I think that he has a valid point, and I hold men's feet to the fire often on their irresponsibility or their accountability for things that they do, and I don't think we as men hold each other's feet to the fire as often as we should. But on the other, I don't agree with the point that you always have to prove yourself to your because your wife isn't always proving herself to you. Now, if you've already proven where you're the husband and she has already taken on that role as a wife, she should already understand who she took the role and trust the person who she took the role with. And if she doesn't, I kind of question that. Like, yo, you might question your boss, but you still follow his lead, whether it's your opinion or whether you're favorable to it or not. And that should apply in our house. We have a tendency to follow outside of our house. And then when we get into our house, do not want to follow the same principles, rules, or situations, and then we complain about the destruction of what is going on within our family structure. And it's our own fault because we don't embrace the principles that we embrace outside of our house, inside of our house.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not looking to prove myself on a constant basis. I got stuff to deal with. Accomplishing my goals. Paying these bills, family. Family issues and stuff like that. So if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'll put you in a home. Not doing anything outside of the relationship as far as like with other women. I guess we're communicating. Outside of those basic minimum, I mean, I don't know what else could she want for me to prove to her. For her to feel like I'm leading the right way or something like that. Because, like I said, some women feel like, I guess, some guys are not good leaders and some guys are, but then they'll end up with egg on their face when they end up following a guy to a dead end. So at the end of the day, they'll, like I said, either if she doesn't want to follow my lead, just wait till 10 years and then you'll see if you made the right decision. Because like I said, I'll be watching from afar. If you didn't want to follow my lead, or you felt like the grass would be greener, or whatever, if you wanted your freedom papers, I'm like, okay, go ahead. If my leadership is not good enough, or you think it's supposed to be nothing but skyscrapers and waterfalls, because the motion I'm making is too mellow. Well, like I said, you can go out there and chase what you need to chase. But I'm not going to prove myself every single day just for you to feel content that you made the right decision. So, but I'm not doing that.
Pastor Blake's tonight on YouTube has the Queenology and Kingology out of Houston, Texas. Had a live teaching tonight dealing with 5 things that women should do to qualify men to enter their lives. And I think this is a major thing that a lot of women aren't doing. I didn't say all, so I'm careful to try not to stereotype. Many aren't doing that. There are going to be signs or red flags given about different character traits that any of us have if we take enough time to check the people out before we get into a exclusive relationship and or marriage. I'm big on building trust, which also will open the door for confidence. Many of us men, we are good at leading ourselves as single people. But when it comes to leading another person, then many drop the ball. I know it's very simple language I'm using. And then the female is wondering what happened. Well, did you just jump into this? He may be making 6 figures, but 6 figures doesn't mean he can lead. That's just money. And say like TD Jakes, if you just after my money, you've gotten the lower or the lesser part of who I am. Because we can always go make some more money. So I think that if we expect her to follow our lead, then we ought to be showing her something worth following us. before we get into that serious relationship. I back off.
Okay.
Can I just hop in here real quick? I'm not gonna have much to add. I think Sean said it perfect. I think the elder Vasa, I think he just I've learned that when the elders are speaking, STFU.
Mm-hmm.
And sit at their feet and soak up that wisdom. So I just wanted to give you your flowers, elder, and tell you I appreciate you speaking that wisdom for all of us to soak up and bask in.
Yes. He's been down with me since my podcasting days.
I second that. I second that.
Yes.
How's everyone doing?
Hello, Ikene, right? Ikene.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm
Really
doing
fresh.
well. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
joining the show. I think this is this your first time joining?
I think I know me and Hink has been in many shows many times, so I don't even know if this is my first time here. I think.
Well, welcome. Thanks so much for being here. What would you
Precious,
like to say?
you gotta watch that guy. You gotta watch that guy.
I've seen him on other probably Love Youth Network. I've probably seen you over there on some of the shows. So that's where I met Hank. So
Okay.
but welcome. What would you like to add, sir?
Oh boy, Hink said that I should be careful, man. Let me take it easy. Yeah, let me not go ballistic as usual. But I will say this, right? We are in a situational world, okay? Just like Mr. Vasa said. Mr. Vasa, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Growing up as a little kid, when the elders speak, we don't talk. We just sit and we stand around the elders because the wisdom that come out of their mouths is just huge. It's not something that can be competed because they come with experience. We don't tell them what we know. We don't try to educate them because they are educating us. And I gotta tell you guys, right? Looking at the 7 of us or 8 of us listening to speak, is I would say it's actually the first time I've seen something like that because I've been to channels where people around this age will talk and they get disrespected, they get called the N-word. They get disrespected, get insulted, and it tells me how damaged the system is. The system is so damaged that the women are confused because the women look up to the men and the men look up to the elders. If you look at the warriors from the land of our ancestors, right? When these warriors prepare for war, they go to the elders. And the elders will give them the strategies of war because the elders have fought those wars before them. When you hear the sound of bullets, you don't want to go in with your head. You don't want to do that. You want to go in knowing the fact that you already are sitting where the bullets are coming from or where the arrows are coming from before you go in. And you don't go in walking into a battlefront. You lay flat on your stomach and you crawl like a snake. That's what the elders taught us. But the reason why you have society like this going as bad as it is because the young men that are going into battles are not listening to the elders. They're not even consulting the elders.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're going to the battle, they get killed and they come home traumatized and they take it out on the women. And then the women get pissed because she didn't even learn how to battle as a woman from her mother because her mother never listened to her father. So now you have generations of messed up people. Instead of transferring knowledge and wealth, they are transferring wretchedness. You see what I'm saying?
Who got the
So
offering plate?
it goes both ways. What I'm trying to say to the people today, we can say all we want to say about the women now, but I am tired of just blaming the women. I'm telling the men, you have to take your responsibility of your failure and put the women where they belong. Women respond to authority and they gravitate towards the person with authority. The white man has authority. The black man is not ascertaining his authority anymore. You don't need permission to be a man from any woman. You don't need that.
Say that again, please. Say it again, please.
That I have to allow him to be a man. I'm like, who the hell do you think you are to allow him to be a man? When a woman starts telling you that I might allow you to be a man, you better let her go. Kick her
She
to
ain't the one.
Goodbye to her.
I think you better
Because
let her go.
you don't negotiate with somebody that is supposed to be under you. Do you know why? Because when she goes to get her job, her employer doesn't negotiate with her. They negotiate the pay, but not the duty.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? They negotiate the pay, but not the duty. So I don't know why we as men we sit back and allow somebody tell us in your own house that she's going to allow you to be a man if you treat her like a woman. No, I'm not going to treat you like a woman because you're giving me conditional relationship. A man should not operate on conditional relationship. You, the man, is supposed to set the condition. And then she follows the condition. And if she doesn't want to follow it, she don't get into it. But the crazy part about it is this, right?
Y'all, I'm just letting y'all know it's a storm going on here, so the TV is going in and out. So we might go in and out. I'm just letting y'all know. Heads up.
The problem is the men go into battle with their head. And you know what that head is? It's not his head. It's that one right there. That's the head they're going to battle with. The head that doesn't have brain, only veins.
Oh, Jesus, it's getting raw here.
So, you don't need a woman's permission to be a man. And you don't move into a woman's house to live in a woman's house. She's supposed to move into your house.
Oh yeah.
Nah, don't move her in. Don't move her in. Unless you don't got her own property.
You just negated your authority when you move in her house.
Once you do that, you lose that authority.
You put it to the sideline.
A friend of mine tonight, she and I were talking. She's 42 years old, no husband. And then I was like talking to her about you can't be by yourself. You can't live by yourself. She has a son. I said you need a man in your house. And she's like, well, I'm going to need a man in my house if he's going to pay the mortgage. I'm like, no, you have to live in his house, not in your house. And then she changed. She's like, oh, yeah, I'll live in his house. If I didn't say that, she's finding a man that will come pay her bills.
She was setting you up.
She'll be using him.
You see? Because why? When men go to work, women think how to manipulate men. Men go to work. Men don't think how to manipulate women. Men think how to please women. But women think how to manipulate men. That's the world we are.
Ooh, we appreciated every last bit of that, good feeding, because you were spitting facts. Every word you said. I appreciate that. All right.
Yeah, Hank said that I shouldn't say too much.
Don't listen to Hank. All right. I'm not quite. Passport, you win already.
Yeah, I went.
Did you go? Did you go? King?
No,
No,
I'm good. I actually don't have anything
Hank or
to
King. I
add.
didn't know it was me.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I said King, but Hank, you could go next.
No, he go. Go ahead, go.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I actually like what the brother just added to the conversation and what Mr. Vassar did as well. I'm kind of a mix between that. I think the thing that stood out for me was a man doesn't need permission from a woman to be a leader. That's where I stick with, and that's really all I've got to add. So I don't have anything really different to contribute to the conversation.
Okay. Hank?
I guess I add just a little small joke again.
Wait.
I think we need to.
Hank was going next, and then you can go. Big is.
Oh, sorry
Hank was
about
gonna
that.
go next, and you can go. Mhm.
No, he can go ahead. I look. I don't have nothing else to add. Everything I think that needs to be said is said to me. So it's my opinion. I'm gonna bow down and just pay attention.
Okay.
Well, I think being a good leader is being a was being a great follower at first in some kind of capacity. So once you know different roles and stuff, you can be able to deliberate the orders out pretty good and stuff like that. So the best way I say is to know your woman and the things that she is selling, congratulate her and make sure that she know you appreciate her for the things that she do. Like the cooking and stuff like that, and or taking care of the child, or she might be good at finances. So you got to know your woman, and when you pay good detail to your woman and stuff, it puts you in a great situation to be able to communicate the things that you need from her, and you need to be able to have that following ear to be able to listen to the things that she needs from you. I think that's what really make you a great leader. And that's all I got to add. Cause I think all the brothers had some great things to knowledge from Mr. Vessa of his wise counsel, and I like what Passport Bro said with the nobody needs permission to be a man, and even everybody just double down on some good points. So I appreciate y'all.
Now he talked about men wanting women to submit and not necessarily, they talk from the Bible, but they don't necessarily read it and things like that. A lot of times a man will want a woman to submit, but if men were honest, who were they submitting to? Because like Big Giz said, at some point you got to be a follower. In order to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. So what have you followed? What have you studied? What have you pondered on? What have you meditated on? What have you read that shows that you are a good follower of that word or the message or the teachings or whatever it is? I think that's a lot of times women run into men who want them to submit to them. However, that man submits to no one but himself.
I pulled over for that one, Precious.
You didn't want no distractions.
Not I can't talk and ride at the same time. But it's a point that I make often. I don't want women to submit to men. As in the book, I want women to submit to their husbands. And men
that's good.
Submitting to something bigger than yourself automatically makes you want to make her your wife. And if you don't want to take on a responsibility of the weight of the husband, then don't expect the authority that comes along with it.
But doesn't she have to prove herself first?
Well, that's my point. He's already proven if she is his wife.
No, does she have to prove? Does she have to show you that she's a wife before you make her a wife? You can't just, you
I
can't just
mean, I
pronounce
mean that's that. I'm not going to go in down that rabbit hole. Absolutely, and I'm already saying that she's already shown that if she is my wife. That's why I'm
Oh, okay,
asking
okay,
her to
okay.
be my wife. You know what I
Oh,
mean? It's not like I've already vetted that process. Is the point that I'm making. But to Precious' point, if you want that authority, then take on the responsibility that is above you, which is what the Lord says in that book that they talked about. Said, make her your wife.
Mhm.
Then submit to your husband is what it says in that book. It doesn't say submit to a man.
Good distinction.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you're right, because he started off the video, I believe, saying that husbands
Expect
their wives to just blindly, they expect their wives to just trust them, and it's like, how are you proving yourself
And,
over, because women are going to test you,
but see,
right?
that's the
Women.
point. That's the
set the tone.
problem. Women should not be testing you. And if you're already his husband, then you should already be in a submissive place. Otherwise, do not marry him.
Right, but once you're okay, so I get that, right? So you're husband and wife at this point, right? However, that you're talking about being with someone for a lifetime. So you're saying, okay, to get in the door, we did what we needed to get in the door, and then after that, there should be no more pursuing on bettering yourself so you can better yourself for the marriage, and that goes for husband and wife. But right now, we're talking about the men.
No,
So
I'm not saying that.
okay,
I'm saying that if in fact you've already agreed to marry this person, you should have done your vetting to trust that person. And that's what it boils down to. If you're losing trust, and for whatever reasons, I'm not even going into the reasons, but you should have already passed that threshold by the time you're in this, you're making this vow to one another, because that vow, if you believe in more than anything, if you believe in that vow, then you've already have submitted to.
I
I
don't know,
know, but
son.
that's why there's
I gotta push
divorces.
back.
I know what you're saying. That's why we push back to the women, because y'all never know. Y'all
Well,
don't
no,
want to
no.
know.
Exactly.
What I want to say is, like, I play basketball, right? Had to sign a letter of intent, all of that. Got a scholarship,
Wait,
school
how tall are you?
5'7". I was shooting guard.
Oh,
So I signed a letter of intent on the team. That doesn't mean I get to be lackadaisical coming into practice whenever I want. That doesn't mean I don't get to run with the rest of the girls just because I signed up for this and I made the team. I still have to prove myself. I still have to go through the games. I still have to go through the practices. I still have to go through all of that.
But I understand that point of
but
view. But if you already got the scholarship, there was a reason for it. There ain't nothing to prove. Now all you're doing is playing and getting better and practicing it. You're not proving it. You're practicing it. And there's a difference between proving and practicing.
Okay.
You can practice and get better. We all need to practice and get better. But we're not proving it. We're just doing better at what we already have done and proven.
development.
Right. I
De-
practice and prove myself in the game
development
to
to
prove that the practice
execution.
works. Right.
Development to execution. Development, that's your practice.
Mm-hmm.
Execution, game time.
Mm-hmm.
Development, dating. I'm into it because that's relationship too. Basketball coach, players. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we take the same ideology, we move that to marriage. Okay, dating. That's kind of like a trial run. We're dating for data.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all gonna put our best foot forward, and we all know we got skeletons in the closet. But I need to find out. One of the things that R.C. Blake said tonight on his live is that, you mean to tell me, ladies, you have never spent time with this man? All y'all done is text. You didn't even do a live video chat to see what the man looks like. And you're ready to jump in the marriage relationship? But that's what's going on. You don't know nothing about his character, how he handles himself under pressure. That's leadership. That's a real test of leadership there. When they get hot and heavy, when everybody else lose their head, the real leader will evolve.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
I think
mainly.
I think that goes to what Miss Precious was saying with the kind of with the testing of proving yourself when you start getting hot and heavy, like what you just said, Mr. Vester. Once things get in a situation where things not working according to plan, and now we got to work and mold this stuff and work together and get to some kind of conflict resolution, like Heat was talking about in the other joint. Um, that's when you see what you got is real or it's not real. You got to have that ability to build together during this time to make your relationship stronger. You go ahead, Mr. Passport. My bad, man.
No, that's cool. So what President was saying with her being on the basketball team. So with the organization, whatever basketball team you want to pick. So does the basketball team have to prove itself to the player, or does the player have to prove itself to the basketball team to get the extended contract, or is it both?
No, it's really prove it to the coach, not the
To the
team.
coach, yeah.
Yeah, to the coach, because
To
the
the
team,
coach. The team, they gotta pick us to be together. Like in high school, we knew we were making a team, but we still had to try out. We still have to go through the process like everybody else that would be new on the team. So, there's certain people that are going to be on the team, but then, you add new talent as well, but you're really proving yourself to the coach. Can you be a team player? Are you all about yourself? Are you selfish? Can you not pass the ball? Can you not communicate on the court? You're proving yourself to the coach and the organization.
Well, yeah, but we also know you do got to prove yourself to your teammates too, though.
Well, yeah, you do have to show up and
be
be humble.
Trustworthy, that you're reliable.
Yeah.
That you are in certain situations you're going to handle it in the best way you should know how, and the best way your coach has taught you how to play. Are you going to fold?
You're right. Because I was a captain, and a girl that I used to do a podcast with, she was my co-captain. So you're right. You do have to prove yourself to your players as well. As a captain, I had to keep a certain posture for those who were looking up to me. So you're right about that. Passport, did you have a point to make in that?
Yeah, I was trying to see about so I'm trying to see the guy, or the significant other. So is he the coach or is he the team? That's what I'm trying to kind of confused right there.
Well, I always say that the guy would be the coach, and once I'm on your team, once you pick me, we're on the same team now. That's how I always view it. That's how I view it. He would be the coach, because when we're now in a relationship, he's drawing up the plays, he's showing me the plays, and I'm running the plays.
Ooh, Passport. I think I know where you're going with this. So, do you question the coach? Or does the coach got to prove it to you?
Hey, man, you're stealing my thunder, man. Come on, man.
I'm sorry, Passport. I'm sorry, Passport.
It's cool.
Do I question the coach? The coach has an open door policy. So there's nothing that I can't come to the coach about.
That's good. Ooh, that's good.
I'm not going to question the coach, but I am going to, take advantage of that open door policy and come to him correctly.
No, don't back off of that. You have a right. This is relationship. Remember, development to execution. And that's a part of the marriage development. You have a right to question that. If this okay, coach, this how you want me to play. This is how you want me to run this particular play. This is what you want me to do, husband, to help the inside of the home be smooth. But also, The coach has got to set the stage of he has to set the environment of the home for the players to do what? To practice right and to execute.
Agreed.
The coach is there
Agreed.
before practice, before we get there. The coach is setting up, the balls and unlocking the door and making it a place where we can enter and be able to do what we need to do.
Agreed. And a good coach is going to consider what his player proposes. But the point that I was making earlier, it's not about the coach proving it to you. You already on the team, you're following the lead of the coach. Well, you might question some things, but you still follow the lead. He's not proving it to you.
Yeah, because like if the players consistently questioning the plays that I'm drawing up, then I'm gonna be like, obviously it's gonna cause friction to where, I guess we probably are not gonna be on the same team too much longer, because even Jordan, when he got Phil Jackson, he did question Phil Jackson on running the triangle until he trusted the process. So that can kind of work hand in hand as well.
Thank you. Because for some marriage relationships, some players have to ask the question again. Remember, everybody don't learn, everybody don't develop the same way. And you could be having a diamond in the rough. You could. There's when a man finds a wife. When a man finds a wife, when a man discovers, that's what that word find in the Hebrew means. When he discovers, and you can discover things two ways. You can discover her when you intentionally go looking. And then you can discover things by what? Just stumbling up on things. Mm-hmm. There's two parables that man, y'all know JC, y'all know who I'm talking about. He gave two parables that dealt. A man went out looking intentionally for a good treasure. And another parable he gave, the man stumbled upon, but nevertheless he found. But if you give up in that process, so sometimes for some players, some wives, they do have, but see, that's where here's another point. That's where it helps you to develop what? Patience. Mm-hmm. And we as men sometimes, well, no, let me just say it the way it is. Many times we run out of patience with the significant other, the ones we want to spend a lot. If you can't endure 6 months of this, you definitely ain't going to endure 27 years like I did, and I'm 65.
Some players are uncoachable too.
Well, then you should recognize that before you put them on your team.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you got training camp.
No, see. No. I'm not. You can't pull that on me.
What you mean? That's why you got the training camp. Training camp, spring drill.
See that? You know what that is? That's shacking up. I know the language.
Right.
That's shacking up.
That's not
and you know what shacking up is? You know what shacking up is?
You looking to constantly get divorced.
I want the goodies with no commitment. That's all that is. And it don't never work.
Hey, there's a reason why there's a practice.
No,
why they got the spring practice for.
Passport, but you get invited to the spring practice. No, you get invited. It's not something that you just get in because you get invited, still in all, which means you were vetted and you were picked and you were chosen.
That's what I'm saying. I picked her.
I know we ain't gonna advocate for this, but
no.
I'm evaluating to see if she's good fit for the team.
Okay, and what you're saying, and guess what? So a lot of other people. So guess what?
Oh yeah,
she go play for the other team and you lose out.
Okay.
Whatever team she plays with and you lose out because you didn't want to make a commitment.
Oh no.
I know we're not
I
gonna
need to see what I need to see in
advocate for
practice
this, but
before I make
it
the
is a
commitment.
certain thing called
Why would
common
any
law.
team hold on? Why would any team want to sign a player to a long-term deal, and then the player turns out to be Kawhi Leonard, always hurt or whatever? Is always a problem every single time.
They do it all the time. Why?
Well,
Because they
then
saw the qualities.
that's why you
No,
have
but they
practice to see this type of stuff.
but the whole thing is they didn't expect Kawhi to get injured. Practice doesn't
Expect the
anticipate
unexpected.
injuries.
Expect the unexpected.
So that's part of your coaching. That's part of your and what you look for. And
That's
so
where
if
his
that's what
spring
you look
practice
for,
comes in play.
you don't got to practice
I
because you've
feel like we on
already
my
seen
sports
them
recap
play.
show right now. Is that what we on? We staying on this
Just a little
basketball?
bit, just a little bit. You know, it's the men. We got to make it relatable.
Precious brought the basketball in there.
Yeah, she brought it up. It's her fault.
And I want to say this, sir. I got to give you your props. You got a little bit of Black Panther and Dick Gregory all wrapped into one. So salute to you. I appreciate your wisdom.
So somebody said that it can never work out. Do you think that people can make a long-term commitment to each other without the title husband and wife?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Common law marriage is a thing. It's for real.
It is.
I'm not trying to advocate for it or nothing, because I know this is part of that system, but yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, especially here in the South, in Louisiana. Who was it? One of those French leaders that established Louisiana. He was a bigamist, and to protect himself, that's where that common law came in.
Well, Florida doesn't have that, so thank God.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's the
but
thing about it.
Louisiana, though, that's why illegitimacy is so high in Louisiana.
Goddamn. Okay, I'm sorry to
That's
hear that.
what I'm saying in Florida.
But that's why I say many a times on a lot of the show when we talk about a man won't, unless you require marriage from a man, he's not going to marry you. He's not going to just voluntarily marry you, ladies. I hate to hurt your feelings or bust your bubble and
tell it, honey.
Keep it real. You gotta keep it real.
Tell it.
Tell it. We will not. We will not marry you. We will continue to play house as long as we can. Now, if you require us to marry you, now you're forcing our hands, right? Now we got to make a decision. Do I want to keep this? Or am I fattening the frogs up for these other snakes to eat? Well, I'm not doing that. So if the woman I found, the woman who I'm vetting, who I'm looking to bless with my last name, is going to be my wife someday. I do this for a reason. I ask the tough questions for a reason. I interrogate for reasons so I can know all the answers I need to know. But at the same time, I'm also educating her. I'm coaching her.
That's good. That's good.
I'm training her to be what I need her to be and what I need from me as a person who's going to be my spouse, who's going to be my wife one day.
But if everything,
if you don't do that, then that's
she ain't the one. She ain't the one.
If everything's going right, if everything's going right, but you just don't have that marriage contract, I mean, why would it need to? I mean, how is that going to be a deal breaker? Is what I'm saying.
You said what again?
If everything's going right, we're living together.
Yeah.
We have a kid or children. Everything's functioning. Bills are paid. She's happy. I'm happy. Is the marriage contract, is that going to be a deal breaker? That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean
marriage?
If she's requiring it, I'm saying like that should not really be a deal breaker if everything is if everything else that she wanted is there except that should not be a deal breaker.
If she's
it's gonna be one.
If she's a woman of standards, it should be.
She want a commitment.
You should expect her to be a deal breaker.
She's living in the house. That's commitment.
You the one that don't want to get married, man. Why you conflict this?
I agree with Passport Bro Charles.
But if it's not a deal breaker for her, you need to reevaluate her because she's not a woman of no morals. She has no standards. It means it fluctuates, and we can move it like a goalpost.
Passport. Why?
That's an ideology. That's just what we push, but it's not necessarily the case, though.
Well,
We ain't gonna
that's
say
I just said when I
If a
asked
woman
you what was the requirement, if you get married,
require
if you're gonna
marriage,
make a
right?
commitment
If
with
that's what
somebody,
she's supposed to do, then she got to stand on that. Now, if she lets it up, I got a question. Why are you letting up? Why all of a sudden your standards change?
but that's
'Cause
counter
now
to
I'm
the
thinking
question that I just asked you.
her words gonna move like the wind. Whichever the way the wind blow, her words gonna
but
move. And
I gotta get some
I need you to
pushback to
be
that.
serious.
King.
You
I
said
gotta get
what?
some pushback to that. Don't women change up like the wind?
On certain things they do. But if you
All right
if you
then.
have but listen to what I'm saying. I have a core standards that I will not move off of. Certain things I will not move. I got other things
Leadership.
that I will adjust.
Leadership.
I'm
He's
gonna make it
talking
simple.
leadership.
But I will on certain things I will not move. So one of
Ah.
my will not move on is one plot. I kill them out. If you don't believe in one plot, you don't believe in you don't believe in ink, and you don't believe in getting blessed with my last name. And I will not move on that. Women have to have that certain thing. And if they don't, then you need to evaluate that woman. Because she'll move on any goddamn thing. Depends on which way the wind blows.
Well, where I'm heading at in life, like I guess I'm accelerating and accomplishing a lot more stuff. And financially, I'm getting to a higher level. So to put all that on the line, especially once we reach, I think in Florida is like 7 or 10 years to married, she can get half. So to kind of gamble all that, that's where I'm kind of having marriage anxiety.
Brother, you know what? I hope this make everybody love. You need some deliverance. That's what
I
you
am
need.
deliverance. I'm delivering away from the
I'm
marriage.
not gonna say that that's bull, bro.
And
I'm not
deliver
gonna say
your
that.
mindset. Cause see, but that's a reality with a lot of men.
It
Here
is.
again, I'm careful to not stereotype, but a lot of men, they are putting more value on stuff than they are on the intangible things that it takes to make a marriage. The intangible things are more valuable than money. And that's what we desperately need to correct that ideology.
Monique just came out with a video saying that.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Well, brother, I respect that, Mr. Vesey, but
I didn't say money wasn't important.
Right.
Jim Rohn, motivational speaker. Jim Rohn said, if you think money isn't as important as air, try living without it. It has its place, but it is not the all-inclusive answer. It is not.
that don't mean for you to be no fool, though.
Exactly, because like I said, me and her, we can have a ceremony, we can have a civil union, but signing that contract, I don't know.
Scared of commitment.
No, I'm not scared of commitment. I'm not scared of commitment. I'm not scared. I'm not scared.
But you're leading with fear. You're leading with fear.
It might be some fear. It might be some fear in there, but because like I said, I done seen guys. Hold on.
You will receive it.
Let him talk. Let him talk.
I done seen guys get screwed over, and I'll be a fool to not learn from their mistakes to gamble everything I work for. Because like I said, I'm not some rich millionaire. I'm barely a thousandaire. So to gamble everything I've done worked for and to set my family back from marrying somebody and for whatever reason, because like I said, it's supposed to be death to do us part, but it's death until I get tired of it. That's what it is these days. That's what everything has.
You're worried about losing stuff. Sounds like.
I'm worried about having to start over. I'm 30. I'm 30. I'm 37 now. Okay. So let's say if I get married in 2 years, and then let's say in 10 years, let's say I'm 49, 50, and she wants to get divorced. I'm looking at I have to start all over and lose half of everything.
Remember earlier, remember.
You don't need no therapist passport. You do need to stick with it.
Look, even if you don't get married and y'all play common law marriage, You can still lose half your
can
stuff.
still-
Florida doesn't have common law marriage. I looked it up.
I understand what you're saying, but y'all still may have to split whatever it is.
Well, in Florida, like I said, I'm not. Like I said, she can live in my house. As far as signing her name on my house, I don't think I would do that.
King.
But she can
This
live
would
in
be
there
a
though.
perfect time to bring up
So
contract. King, can you hear me?
Get a prenup
yes,
if
yes.
you that worried. Get a
My
prenup.
bad.
Now, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to like do something to distinguish between the two of you. But King, the actual King, this will be a perfect time to talk about contracts because we were talking about that a little bit earlier before the show, just a tad bit. And I said, well, let's wait till the show. We really didn't get into it. So, Passport is, talking about the fears and anxieties and, losing half and things like that. Talk to him about a dating contract because you're currently involved in a dating contract,
Yep,
right?
I'm currently talking to somebody, and the way that I looked at it is I was married for 14 years, and I look at a marriage as a contract, right? Our marriage didn't work out.
Can you be?
Is that Sean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Composition,
okay,
I think, huh?
There we go.
Outside North.
Cruising down a highway. That's him.
So when I look back at my marriage and the things that I had inside of that marriage, there were things that I didn't live up to contractually on my end of the bargain as well. I get that now. So coming out of my marriage, I'm like, all right, if I am gonna gamble on having a relationship with somebody, I want to at least have a dating contract to see if both her and I can live up to what we agree on. It is the most unromantic thing out there. But I said, I'm not going to go into any situation on just, hey, we can talk about it. Oh, we're together on love. No, no. So I introduced a dating contract to the person who I'm talking with now. I wasn't sure if she was going to agree to do it, but I also wasn't going to proceed on creating or going into anything if she wasn't for it. So her and I worked out the stuff that we put in the contract, and we're holding us accountable to the relationship stuff and the things that we included in the contract. My 2 cents is this, okay? If you can get into that early and understand and hold both of yourselves accountable to the things that y'all have committed on inside of that contract, then if you choose to go and evolve from there, you already have a timeline and a blueprint of if y'all can stick to y'all's words, essentially, because you've had that contract before you even went to a marriage. So far for us, it's working out. We talk about it very openly. It's not anything that I've heard anybody else do, but for us, it's working.
And whose idea was this?
It was mine.
It sounds good.
What it is a standard that you set and you didn't move off on, right?
Correct.
That's the one you said you're not going to move, and you was willing on losing this woman in order because you're not going to move off that standard. I mean, there's no difference in what I was saying about my standard about one pot. And if a woman who has a certain standard, and if her standard is to get married, she's not going to move off that.
So Passport.
And just like he said, I'll sacrifice and lose you because as a woman, if I was a woman, I want to get married. And this is my goal. This is where I see myself. And if that means me and you're not going to make it, no matter how good I think you are, you got to take that loss and move on.
Yep. She's not the one.
So Passport, would you do something like that? Would you have a relationship where it's like you might have to, consult with the actual King Smith, but would you do something like that where it's just like before marriage, let me write up a contract? These are the things that I need because I don't. Do you have things in there that you want, King, or is it things that you actually absolutely need?
We have the things in there that are needs. I put it in my language for her to read. She put it in her language for me to read.
That's good.
That is a very good idea.
That's good. That's damn good.
Now that I'm really getting to think about it, because you're putting yourself in the mind frame of marriage. You're putting yourself in that mindset of marriage. And it's like, we know that marriage is a contract. So let's make our own premarital contract to see if we can at least, uphold both of our ends of the contract. If not, the contract is what? Null and void?
Null and void.
Yep.
Walk away. Not prenuptial, but
you can't come to come to the table with another contract, another offer. So
that sounds like a great idea, because it sounds like you're mixing what Hank said, putting your standards out there, but you're putting it on paper. And it also lends to the point that Passport was saying, where you have that fear reluctance, because he was fearful because he's already been through a marriage for 14 years, and that was dishonored on both parts. So I like your idea, and I might try and put it into practice at one point in my life.
Come on now, Sean.
But you know what I also see? I see leadership.
Don't wait too long.
I see leadership. And I also see the leader giving the potential wife something to follow in the process. I see commitment being made.
She got work to do.
Yeah, got to put in the work. I see commitment, even though it's somewhat of a temporary, but it's still, I'm showing commitment. I'm showing her something to follow. Evidence. You can never beat evidence. Ain't no, you know what these old folks used to say? An empty wagon always makes a lot of noise. I regress. I back off.
Ikene? Oh, I think you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Unmute yourself.
We still can't hear you. Oh man. All this
Dang, I know he's gonna say something good.
I know, right?
Hey, sign it.
I like to bounce off of him a little bit.
I don't know why we can't hear him though. I don't have you muted on my end, so it must be.
Yeah, I don't see his mic.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think it was disconnected, as I can see it over. Okay, I went back to fix it. Okay, this is one thing I got to say about a prenuptial agreement. If you want to avoid it, the best way to avoid stuff like that is this: you take all your assets. If you have a wife and you have kids, right? You put your asset into your children. All of your asset up to 80%, put it in the name of your kids. So you don't have an asset. And then when you put it in the name of kids, you will it so that your kids don't have access to it until they are 25 at least. So if anything was to happen between you and your wife, you can only share that 20% because the rest of the 80% is under your kids, right? So you only fight over the 20%. That way you secure your asset. Because the reason why men get defeated in marriage is this: when marriage is dissolved, the woman takes some of your wealth and she moves on with another man. That's where men get destroyed. But if you want to avoid that, you put all your asset into the name of your kids. Just like in some places, you can put it under your mom, but US law will not allow you to put it under your mom, right? Or under your parents.
BS.
Huh?
I say, I saw what that soccer player did. Wasn't he a soccer player?
Yes, he's a soccer player.
But
the reason why he was able to do that is that there is no precedent in fact, you can also do it in the US because there is no precedent. You can put it under your mom's name. You can put all your asset under your parents' name. You see what I'm saying? But when you get paid, this is the tricky part of it. When you get paid, right, there is a receipt. So if the government can't come after your pay, they will go after your retirement. Or they can garnish your future pay. But they can't garnish what is not left. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
But if you want to secure past, present, and future, you put everything. The company that you own, you put it under the name of your kids. Everything go under the name of your kids. You put yourself as an employee of the company or hire yourself as a CEO or fiduciary, right? But the owners of the company become your offspring. Then she won't get access to that. One thing is this, when it comes to divorce, the billionaires, they don't get beaten by divorce. That is why they don't complain. In fact, they want their wives gone. In most cases, very wealthy people want their wives gone. That is why when they divorce, they're gone. It's usually the millionaires and the upper middle class that suffer in divorce. And one of the reasons why they get suffered is this: they don't understand wealth management.
Mm.
And one thing about wealth management is when you deal in assets and stocks, right? And divorce happened just like Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos settled his divorce agreement with his wife through stock market, right? Through stocks. He didn't really give her actual liquidity cash. He gave her stocks. So she in turn had over 30 something billion dollars in stock. But guess what? Through stock, he made back all that money. But if he had given her actual cash, right? He can't make cash back like that easily.
Right.
But he could make that back in stocks. That is why I said to guys all the time when I do all these financial program stuff on my channel, I tell people, be careful how you invest and make sure that if you do stock investment, don't do more than 20%, depending on how wealthy you are or how rich you are. Or make sure you keep up to 60% of your money somewhere that somebody can get access to it. But in most cases, if you have company, put it under under your children's name, because your wife can't touch what is not yours. She can't touch your kids' money because it's an inheritance. And guess what? When you put that money under your kids, there is a mistake you don't make. Make sure it's a trust.
Living trust.
Make it a living trust. Now they don't get access to the capital. They get paid the rest of their life. The rest of their lives. Your grandchildren get to be paid. Your great-grandchildren get to be paid. That's why wealth management is always key of building wealth. That's why it's called wealth management. Asset management and wealth management is almost the same, but the good thing about wealth management is that wealth management encompasses both asset management and more. They help you to manage your wealth into the future, generations to come. That's why you see somebody like Rockefeller, they will never go broke. The Morgans will never go broke. The what do they call them? Carnegies will never go broke, because these guys 200 years ago understood wealth management and they ran with it. And guess what they did? Their wives couldn't divorce them because all the money was under the family trust. As long as that money was under the family trust, she can't touch it.
Generational.
Because it's generational. So once it's under the family trust, you can only be paid. And one thing I do tell people before I get off, always pay your wife salary if she's a stay-at-home mom. Get a W-2, pay her salary. If she is a stay-at-home mom, get a W-2, pay her $1,000, pay her $500 a month. At the end of the year, file income tax on that. When she goes to court to divorce you, guess what the judge is going to ask? How did she earn money? You produce the W-2. That means she was paid as an employee of the marriage.
Passport, you listening?
I'm listening, but I just don't see the juice is really worth the squeeze with having to go through all this. Hold on. Having to go through all these channels and loopholes to protect myself in a marriage.
You just want to be antagonistic.
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm being honest.
I think. Look, there are some people who want the easy way out.
Okay.
Okay. I was talking to a guy. We was having conversation. We went on a couple dates, but the last conversation was a nail in the coffin for me because he was like, "Well, my father worked at the post office and he had to work hard for everything he had, and it got to be an easier way." I said, "Yeah, I appreciate our connection, but this is it. This is where the train
That
stops
really
for me."
linking what I'm about to say then.
Because as a man, as a leader, you got to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do what you have to do, you're not going to reap the harvest of what you want to get to. You're just not. It's just not going to work that way. So you might as well
I
just
don't
stay
agree with it.
single. You might as well just stay single and do whatever you want to do, because when you join with someone, you're going to be doing more than what you're doing as a single person anyway.
Facts.
I don't have no problem. I don't have no problem with doing everything in a relationship. But as far as signing my name on a dotted line, unless she has more assets than me, but signing my name on a dotted line to lose half of my stuff.
Right then and there, you threw your argument all out the goddamn window when you said that statement.
What?
No,
No,
it actually
dog.
go with what I'm about to say.
He just meant that say, unless she's making more than me.
I've been married for
I understand why
12
women
years.
always say that. If I need a man making more than me, I need a woman making more than me then. Because I'm not trying to lose. I'm about to sign for a $500,000 house. And
Check
I'm
this
not
out,
trying
bro.
to let that go in a I don't know, a few years of marriage, and she wants half of the property, whatever, however much is going to go up to in equity. I'm not trying to give that up.
You didn't listen
she
to
wants
anything.
You taking the
I
words
heard
out
what
my
y'all said,
mouth.
and I said I don't
You
feel
just
like the
gave a
juice is
workable
worth the
solution.
squeeze with all the loopholes. I got okay.
What did you
Okay, hold on, wait. I would get married. I would get married if we were together, unmarried, for 20 years. So I'm 38 now, 37 now. So by the time I'm 57, we'll go 60. Bam, we got a marriage.
Lord Jesus,
Bro, you ain't even got to do all that.
not when she can't
Look,
walk
I'm
a
a
good
janitor.
mile.
I'm about to mess everybody up. I'm a janitor. I've been married 12 years, man. My wife make more than me. She a CFO.
That's all
She a
y'all
CFO. Make the money.
Talk to him, composition.
So when it comes down to it, you just got to understand what you want out of life. So if she wanted to be married, that's fine. We got married. And we work together. At the end of the day, I don't sit there and be messing with her money. My money. We take care of them bills. We take care of our child. I go out there and do what I got to do. I got to work way harder than she do. But at the end of the day, I do what I'm supposed to. If you listen to what everybody else say, everybody got different mindsets of how you supposed to run your life. You ain't necessarily got to do what everybody else tell you to do or what everybody advocate for. It's up to you what you decide. Long as that woman with you and she agree with what you saying, that what makes you a real leader.
What do you think is
20 years.
It's a lot of women. It's a lot of women that are stood by
I'll settle for 18.
There's a lot of women that are stood by they man and ain't never been married. They've been together 10 plus years. They done been the dude done been in jail. They've been putting money on the books and everything else, waiting for them to come out, the whole 9 yards. So we not gonna sit there and say no narrative.
I'm free on the outside.
I'm
free on the outside.
That's because she doesn't require that.
That's what I'm saying. But if she require that marriage, bro, don't get married, bro.
What did I sit there and say? I said a man will not marry you. He will remain
That's
single
facts.
if you will let him.
That's facts. No. We will be in a relationship, just not marriage.
If a man is not going to do it voluntarily, most of 90%. Now, are there going to be times where a man just like, gun, oh, yeah, maybe so. But majority of men, they're not.
Not.
I'll get her the ring. We can have the ceremony. 18 to 20 years. I never said, okay, I'll concede a little bit. 18 years. We can get married after 18 years. 18 years of invested, then I'll feel more comfortable. I'm not saying no to marriage. I'll say yes, but just on the back end.
That little piece of house she got, and that little small 401k. Is that what it is?
No,
it's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
you
It's not
don't
more
do
than
what
that. It's just
accumulate
that
told you to do.
when I'm getting close to the retirement
He's
age,
gonna tear your
I am
butt up
not trying to
anyway.
be having some
Hey,
late life crisis
but
on
you
what am I
also,
going to do to take care of
hey,
myself.
let's put your argument out. If she makes more than me, then I'm
Oh
willing
yeah.
to do
Oh
all
yeah.
those things.
Yeah. All that's out the window.
So this is actually a good segue into our very last topic, which is singlehood is not a disease cured by marriage, right? So we're talking about marriage
Correct.
and how great it is and the responsibility and being a great leader and being able to really lead a woman into that union. But this video I'm about to show, it's a woman pretty much saying, if you're single, enjoy your singleness, and she talks about her experience in being single and now being married.
Enjoyed being single, and I want people to understand that singlehood is not a disease that you cure with marriage. It's not. It is not. I don't know where the notion came from that you need somebody to make you complete. I tell Brian all the time, and when people say it, oh, your other half, I'm like, no, he's my other whole, because he had to be whole to complement me being whole. And I enjoyed being single, and I enjoyed my season of singlehood. I just got up and went as I liked. I could get to know myself a little bit better, and I could also work on the person who I wanted in my husband. And what I mean by that is, you pray for a praying husband, but if you can't pray, who is he going to pray with,
Oh,
ours, right? And it stopped right after she said that. But I wanted to play that video, and I wanted to ask Passport this question, right? Because she says, while I'm single, I also want to work on the person that I want to marry. Pretty much saying, if I'm asking for a man that knows how to pray, then I should know how to pray. I should be practicing prayer. I should be talking to God. So, Passport, what is it that you're looking for in a woman before a contract, before marriage, before any of that? What exactly are you looking for in a woman that you would call your wife?
Somebody who knows how to do some conflict resolution. That's big. Compromise, carrying a conversation, being, nurturing, everything kind of like how a mother would treat her child. Somewhere in that ballpark. I don't need any kind of masculine responses and stuff like that. None of them red flags. I want somebody who's a team player, somebody who's coachable. If I can draw the play, and if you can run the play, then like I said, we can smooth out some of the rough edges. So yeah, just mostly cooperation, good listening skills, and somebody who is, not going to be pressing too hard on the marriage. And then, I think we could have a good, unit between each other.
But what if she's all those things, but she's pressing hard on marriage?
What's that first part?
What if she's all those things you just asked for, right?
Yeah.
But she's requiring marriage.
Ugh. I mean, I'll have to see it before I make that decision.
Again, look what you're doing, dog. You're moving on your stance.
I'm not moving on the stance. I never said no. Okay. I'm not.
When you sit about it and hesitating, you're moving on your stance.
I'm not saying no. I would not say no to marriage. Like if marriage was honored, death to do its part, I don't have no problem with it. But when I see people flake for whatever reason,
that's what you're doing now.
No. I that's one of the first things I said. If marriage was respected, like how it was said when both people say their vows on "I take you until death do us part," and then somehow they end up filing for irreconcilable differences, then like I said, they don't respect marriage, especially in these days and these times. So why would I want to gamble on a hope that on a hope of marriage?
I disagree. Not that they don't respect
Big Liz.
marriage.
I got it.
Or
It's not.
value, whatever you
It's
want.
not. It's not that they respect. Yeah, Hink got you. He cornered you. Not that they. Not that they don't respect marriage. It's just that the men don't set the rules.
Say that a little bit louder for me.
Men don't set the rules.
Okay. Yeah. Standard.
When men set the rules and set the standard, right? Women will respect you.
Naturally.
When a woman asks you question, right? She expects you to have the answer. If you don't have the answer, don't give her something you don't know. Tell her, I will get back to you. I will get back to you. Because when you say something out of your mouth, right? You better mean it. You see what I'm saying? She's listening, and she's going to use it against you.
You gotta walk it like you're talking.
Fact,
That's
baby.
right.
Facts.
Don't give answer that you don't know. Because one thing about life is this, right? The mistake that men do, or the mistake that men make, is that men want to please women. You're not in the business of marriage to please your woman. You are in the business of marriage to protect your family. So, which means if you're going to protect your family, you have to tell the truth. You have to give guidance.
Truth ain't always pleasurable.
It's not pleasurable, but you also have to give guidance.
Custody, though.
So you cannot come into a situation and you have a woman that says he's going to be whole for me to be whole. The thing is, she got to be whole to even come into his house. A man doesn't have to be whole for the woman to be whole. That means a man has to be in his masculinity for she to be in her masculinity. So she's seeking for trade-off. No. She got to be in her femininity. And he has to be in his masculinity. So they all have to operate in their guides to come together. That is why I was going to say something earlier, but you guys were talking, so I didn't want to interrupt you. You cannot come into a man's life giving the man condition. A man's supposed to give a woman condition because it's the man's house under the woman's care. The man built a company. The woman is the CEO. So the owner dictates what happens. The CEO then executes what the owner wants. We have to come to this grip that our women are waiting for our lead. If we don't give the lead, they are sheep. When the shepherd is not there to lead the sheep all go astray, right?
Astray, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the shepherd has to lead, meaning that if you start leading, they don't follow. You put it down, right? That's what the shepherd does to the sheep. The shepherd put the sheep down because the sheep is not going to follow the lead. If you look at the society today, when something happens in a house, nobody comes to ask the woman in the presence of a man what happened. They go to the man and ask him what happened. So if you, the man, is going to give account of what happened, but you have a stubborn person, you got to let that person go. Marriage is not a do or die affair. It's all about one thing. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. Marriage is only about one thing, your legacy. It's not about you. It's about your legacy. And your legacy is the direction that your children have to go. Like I tell my wife all the time, it's not about me or her. It's about my legacy. my legacy stands, because if I can't guide my legacy, I'm not going to have children that are going to be normal. And my children are not normal, I'm going to have disarray grandkids. And that's the end of my legacy. So, before you go into a relationship, number one, for women, you don't go date a man to marry him. You get your dad to vet your husband to be. That's where we're missing out. Women don't know how to choose. Today's men don't know how to choose. Both of them don't know how to choose. Because their mothers didn't choose right, their father didn't choose right, their grandfather probably choose right, their grandmother probably choose right. But guess what? The fathers didn't choose right. So the blinds are leading the blind. How do you correct that? We have to start telling people, go and meet somebody that has the right mind to vet. Let them vet for you. Don't go friend because you want to get married. It is catastrophic.
All right. Mandrell, did you see the video, the last video that I played?
I did.
Okay. Your thoughts?
I agree. Marriage is not the cure for single people being single. This whole thing, I mean, I agree a lot with Ikane. Is that how you pronounce the word? You muted, brother.
Ikane.
Ikane? Okay, Ikane, gotcha. I agree with a lot.
Yeah. Ekene. You got it right.
Ekene,
Ekene,
okay,
you got
cool.
it right.
Ekene, okay, cool. I agree with a good bit of what he said. You know what I mean? However, getting people to get on that program today, that's a task and a half, because you got a lot of, like, you compare women to sheep. You got a lot of sheep who don't want shepherds these days. They don't want it. They don't want to follow direction. They don't want you to give them structure. You know, they don't want you to give them or bring order. They want marriage, but they want it on their own terms. That's why it's failing. You know what I mean? But is marriage the cure to it? No, the mindset is the cure to it, from my perspective. Like, for everything Ikane was saying, that has a lot to do with mindset, people's point of view and their perception of marriage. A lot of that, because you ask a lot of women, Precious, you got girlfriends, I'm sure. You ask them about marriage.
A
You got
small
some
circle is real small.
There you go. However, you talk to girls, females, and they say that when you ask them to describe marriage, they're like, it sounds like prison. Like, that's their perception of it.
No, my girlfriends don't think that, but there might be some other girls out there. But
You've
no,
heard,
one of my friends is married, and the other one is looking to be married. So
you've heard women say that
in these YouTube streets and on social media. Yeah.
Well, it's not only there; it's everywhere now. It's
But
out
I have
in the,
heard. I have heard. I mean, there's been women in my own family, biological family, that say, "I don't need no man. What I need a man for? I mean, girl, she pregnant. She whole 9 months. What I need a man for, girl? What you? How you get there?
Yeah,
so,
right.
It's short patience for me. I don't really deal with.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't deal with people with the wrong mindset, as I put it. You know, not in my personal life. You know, my circle's small as well. But it's what I see is this people's perception and their perspective of marriage, the way their attitude towards it. It's just all wrong for marriage. But then they'll say, "I want marriage." You know what I mean? But and we ask them, "But what does that look like?" It's all, everything they say is self-serving. Everything they say is selfish. But I'm like, okay, so what about the husband? What are you gonna bring to him?
And they probably never seen it either.
Right.
You know,
and the thing is,
my parents are married. I've seen marriage, so I know that it's about service. So, and anyone that comes on my channel or anything, or has ever, Vassar Brock and Sean, those two people have been with me since I've been podcasting. And have I changed my tongue when it comes to, you know, being with the man servant? Like, that's what I saw growing up. You know, so you're only going to say what you saw, really.
And here's the thing: there are women who,
and if you hear a woman say she don't need a man, either she didn't see one, or in the case where I was talking about with a woman saying that she didn't need a man, she saw her dad do her mom dirty. She saw her dad cheat on her mom. She saw her dad cheat on her mom and get with the mistress and left her mom alone. So you can only say what you see, really, you know, and some women don't really see an example or a good example. I was blessed to have seen and continue to see a good example.
My sister not the same way. Like, if you ask my sister, she'll give it the same answer. Like, we were lucky. Like, all of my uncles and my father, they took care of their women. My grandfathers, both of them, they took care of their women even in death. They had insurance policies, even though, they came up and black people, and minorities couldn't afford much. They weren't allowed to get much, They did what they could. Insurance policies and stuff like that. They made sure to leave their wives and their families something. Or even if it's just to pay off the house. You take care of that woman, you take care of your family. You make sure your kids go to get an education. You make sure you put them in a pathway to where they have as many opportunities as possible. You know what I mean? See, mindsets like that, you have people now who think they can do it on their own.
Yeah.
Where they get in one side, the woman's point of view of what life is, but they're not getting the man's part. They're not getting those lessons from the men. It's just we live in a society today where people, if they do want marriage, most of them want marriage on their own terms. You're talking about bringing in order, bringing in structure, bringing in rules and boundaries. Women, in my experience, the vast majority of them turn away from that. They don't want it, or they'll say they want it, but then when they're put in that situation, no. And I'm just like, okay. I'm like, there it is. So my thing is, the cure for it, you have to change people's mindset, and that's why the task is much more difficult than we give it credit for.
211. This is what I'm going to say, right? Just to add to what you just said, but my own view is this: majority of women want to get married. High majority of I'm going somewhere. I'm going
on their own terms, though. Yeah, I agree with them. They want to get married, but on their own terms.
Yes, they want to get it on their own terms, and they want to dictate how the marriage goes.
Yep.
And then when they feel like they can't dictate it, or they see that the man will not let them dictate it, then what they do is that they will keep delaying to see if they can get a man that will go on their own terms. And if that can happen, then they will get pregnant at the age of 35. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they will be like, I couldn't find a man. Just like you see that the lady that says she doesn't want a man that drives the bus, but I don't remember her name.
Ebony Williams.
Ebony Williams.
But she's
Williams,
a woman
right?
who admits she has a problem submitting power, relinquishing control.
That's
majority
that
is the root cause of her problem.
Yes.
Who wants to marry
She doesn't want to release control.
They don't want to release control. And then when they find out that the man will not even deal with them, what they do when they turn 35, they freeze their eggs at the age of 40 or 42. Then they have a child if it becomes successful. And then when they will turn around to say, "Oh, I couldn't find a good man,"
and all those good men that they passed aside and that they met and probably dated and gave up, I bet you Ebony K. Williams met a ton of good men who were suitable and would have led her to down a fantastic road to have a fantastic life. However, he wouldn't let her do what she wanted to do.
But look at it this way.
That could be anything.
This is where I blame the parents mostly. I blame the parents in this category. When a woman turns 17 or 18, where does she go to? She goes off to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
When she goes off to college, parents take her to college. They get her a room to stay. She stays these 4 years without the guidance of parents. Then when she graduates from college, she goes to do her master's. Guess what she's going to do? She's going to live by herself again. That's 6 years without parental daily supervision, right? And after that, what these girls will do, they will not want to get work in the city where their parents live.
They move away.
They will go off to another city.
Now there's no supervision.
The reason why they're doing that is to still live on their own. And because they want to dictate from college to adult the role that they want to play. They want to be able to go house when they want to, go to sleep when they want to, do whatever they want, what they want to, and how they want it. And guess what the parents don't do? The parents don't want to tell her to come back home. I will give you 2 examples. My wife, the reason why my wife is very coachable is because my wife never really lived on her own for one day. She went to school in San Diego, where her parents lived. She went to school from house. And after graduation, she came back to stay with me in Dallas. And then she went back home. Then we got engaged and got married, right? She came back again to stay here. She never really lived on her own. And I have friends that are in their 50s and 60s that their daughters are in their 30s. They can't keep a man and they're not married. And they keep asking me, what am I doing wrong? I said, because you're letting your daughter live by herself. Whenever a girl, I'm sorry if this applies to you, real precious. If a woman lives on her own, let me tell you the secret. Men don't take her serious, and men will never take her serious. They see her door as a revolving door for men. That's how men see. You see, every single guy here that is with us, that's how they think, including me. All of us here, all these men here, they think the same way. They see a woman that lives by herself, no matter the age of a woman, even if you're 50, live with your parents. The moment you live by yourself, subconsciously, men think that your door is a revolving door.
Easy access.
I don't know. I don't know about all that.
No, I'm not. You know. There are men that
but if she's 35, I mean, I expect her to eventually,
live with your parents, no matter your age. That's what I got to say. Men love women to live by themselves.
Back now, but
right.
But what I'm saying is that
I could try.
I refuse. My mom would be like,
they like that.
What now? You want to do what now? Want to move into my house?
Yeah, I don't know if my dad gonna have that. You gotta have the parents that will embrace that. You know,
yeah, my mom be like, you got a week. Go find some place to live.
So
you got a week.
She's not gonna put you out.
You saying they broke the plate?
Huh?
No,
they broke the plate, huh?
Well, I went to community college for 2 years, and then I went off to college for 2 years. And actually, it wasn't even. It was like 1.5. So I got the best of kind of both. But I can understand what Ikene is saying, though. When you're coachable, when you don't have that much experience on your own. You're coachable when you really have to depend on someone else. So I can definitely understand that, and that's just not something that you're really going to see in today's society. However, if we saw more of it, we probably would get better results. Looking back, we didn't really always like the things that our parents told us or instructed us to do, but I can say that they did a great job. So I can't really fault them for anything. I can't really blame them or put anything on them. They were parents. They were doing what they knew how to do. And you also have to add on that I was adopted. I wasn't their biological children. So that was another layer of, family dynamics for me and my brother and our family. So it's a lot that goes into that. But I do agree that if more women stayed home, they wouldn't be indoctrined with the way of the world. My parents are Christians, so everything was blocked, so it was like, I know that sheltered life. I do. And if I would have stayed at home, and again, I had adoption there. So I did have to do some self-exploration on my own for those who are adopted in foster care, who understand where I'm coming from. However, if I would have stayed at home, maybe I would be married by now. I don't know. So
I know. And talking about what we was talking about, you worried about a woman's mindset. Well, if that's the case, you just need to keep it moving. I mean, I say it all the time, leave her at the restaurant. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do, and move on to the next. My man, you said you got a passport. If that's the case, Jamaica, it's 10-1 over right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's 10-1 over her. Go over and get you a good woman.
All I'm saying is that I will compromise for the right. Because like I said, I mean, I can't be telling her to bow down to everything, and I won't bend on some stuff, and I'm getting older. So she came from a different world. I came from a different world. So I'm willing to make it work if she's worth it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm a uproot and turn everything upside down for her. But like I said, if it's like something that's doable, I mean, like I said, we kind of we could work it out. Like I said, if
I see you moving it. That's right. Lord,
I'm not. I'm not.
Couple more Mondays. A couple more Mondays.
Nah.
Now they on the floor.
Nah.
God damn.
I'm not bending. I said I just want to hear her out. I just want to.
You grabbing ankles right now. Talk about you ain't.
Like,
hey, look here. Let me say this, man. I just came back from Jamaica last week, Tuesday, matter of fact. And my lady, we was at the counter, getting checked in and all that good stuff. And the lady was there helping us. And my lady said, "Well, I almost left him over here. I'm gonna leave him over here with y'all." That woman looked at her. She looked at me up and down twice. She said, "It's 10-1 out here, ma'am." I said, "He will not be single long." That's what she told him. She looked at me. I said, "Yeah, because I'm a dime plus 99 in this piece. You goddamn right." She said, "You better take him home with you." So with that being said, there's always someone out there. You just got to go out and do the work. You got to be willing to do the work. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. Yes, it is. But it's going to be well worth it at the end, as long as you find that right woman.
Oh, I'm willing to take my time. I'm like I said, I'm older now. I mean, I'm not doing the old school dating like I used to, because things done change. It don't work like that no more. So I'm learning this new dating landscape.
It does work. You just have
No,
to
it doesn't.
work it.
No, it don't.
Just hear me out. You don't have to accept it. Just hear me out. You are premeditating your marriages based upon statistics. You're already setting yourself up for a fall. Just hear me out. I don't say you have to do it. I have listened to you very well. You are premeditating based upon statistics. You are premeditating, and that's a mindset. We're not denying that those things aren't happening, but there's an old school saying, and it works divinely, it works magically. When a man meets the right woman, I guarantee you, you won't be stuttering. Hank can ask you anything, and you'll be talking just as fluent. When a man meets, matter of fact, I like to go to them old school songs. When a man loves a woman, he'll sleep out in the rain all night long. Mm-hmm. When he meets the right woman, mark this day, mark it. Mark this day. Because see, and this is no shade, you just a Johnny come lately. It ain't nothing new. It ain't nothing new. See, when you become a principle man and not a statistical man, when you start applying principles and concepts, they are tried and true. I guarantee you, you'll change your story. That's my final remarks.
Okay. Now we're going to go right on over to King, or I know it was Giz. Was it King Giz? Official Giz?
Big Giz.
Big Giz. EG? Final thoughts.
Well, I got two things. One thing for you, Miss Precious, and the panel, and one thing for Mr. Passport, bro. Cause being married and stuff, I do understand. It's kind of funny for me now to be an advocate for marriage for everyone because I understand the sacrifices it takes. So this to you passport it's work, bro. This ain't nothing easy to go out there and pass up women, not be in your natural state, do for your family, sacrifice for your family, be there, do everything you're supposed to be doing because everything will be on you. It will be your fault. You got to want it. And if you don't want it, don't bring your ass over here. Don't do it. That's why I won't advocate for everybody to do this because it's not for everybody. Now, to the panel and especially Miss Precious, do you consider yourself a sheep?
Do I consider myself a sheep?
Yeah, off of the
I would. I'm
Ikani
not a shepherd.
thing he was
So.
saying. So if you consider yourself a sheep, you expect for that shepherd to come and use you for your resources and eventually fatten you up and put you on a plate. Eventually.
Oh.
That's your future. That's your future. You can't get mad at how that's what the future is for a sheep. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I never considered women sheep.
I don't know about.
I never considered myself a sheep. So I mean, y'all take that for what it is, and that's my final thoughts.
Thank you, Mr. Ikene.
Yeah, my final thought is this, right? We have to look for a tradition that will fix what we have. You see what I'm saying? We have to look for a tradition that will fit what we have. We got to go back to drawing board. But at the same time, we can walk and run. We don't have to wait for the next generation to fix it or the generation after that. We can start now. Today is early. The sun is still out. It's not dark. Individualism is a problem. But the good thing about the YouTube space like this is because the good thing about the YouTube space is as long as we are speaking out, as long as there are people that are going to come here and tell the truth, right? There are people listening. Just keep telling the truth. There are people listening. Because look at what is going on. Some people are fucking about the passport bros, right? It's because people are listening. If the passport bros are not doing what they're doing, nobody will be listening. If the YouTube wasn't there to amplify it, nobody will be listening. So as long as we're going to come to this space and keep telling the truth and keep banging the table and keep saying that our community is in trouble, somebody will start listening. And they are already listening. But I got to tell you, there are people that profit in the disarray. Those that profit in this disarray, right? They're going to use the people that they pay to fight back. So are you up to the task? That's what you got to ask yourself. But do it for the interest of your family. Because if you don't, you won't have a family tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mandrell, final thoughts?
Yeah. Listen, my sister and I grew up in a two-parent household. We saw other people grow up in two-parent households, like in our family. Around our neighborhood, we saw some single mother homes, but those kids didn't turn out to be bad or anything like that. So we have good examples, and we consider ourselves blessed and fortunate for that. We had a father in the house, and he did his job. All of our uncles, all of our grandfathers, they all did their jobs as men and as husbands. So this whole dysfunction, I don't understand. I'm still trying to understand it. But As far as I know, you're supposed to take care of your woman and your children, even in death. You leave something behind for them, you know. So, fellas, if you think that's simp behavior, because I've heard that being said before too, you did wrong for that. You need to step your game up, and again, change your mindset. That's what you're supposed to do. Being a leader doesn't mean you do everything I say because I said it. No, it has to make sense. So, as a leader, you have to be competent. I don't want my sister just to follow anybody just because he's a man. He must be competent. You know. So if you're a man and women aren't following, number one, that's a choice. Number two, start looking at yourself. You might be lacking somewhere. Or hey, ask the women that you broke up with. They might tell you. So my thing is, so that's one way to help fix the whole singlehood or whatever. You have to fix the mindset and start looking inward. Regards to the video from earlier, when the guy punched the woman and the son came in and gunned him down, the son did what he's supposed to do, given the circumstances. Violence is never my first go-to. It's not even my second. And even when I go to violence, it's in steps. Like, I'm going to meet you where you are. If it's hand-to-hand, all right, I'll meet you there. But you pull a weapon, okay. You pull a weapon, okay. You asked for it. So, yeah, the woman, she's dead wrong on many different levels. The other guy, he was dead wrong for entertaining that and punching a woman. Everybody's wrong except for the kid. And he's right because of the circumstances he's under. What else is he supposed to do? He's 14. His mom's getting punched. So that's my thing. I mean, people just don't waste anybody's time if marriage isn't what you want. And I'm glad to see that you, one person who understands that being married on both the husband's part and the wife's part, it's a servant's role. You're serving each other to work as one. You know what I mean? The man is serving his family, his wife and his children. And the husband's role, the leader of the household, that is a servant's role. Everybody's in such a rush to be the head of the household. But if you ask any husband, he'll tell you, no, this is very much so a servant's role.
A servant leader.
Exactly. It ain't what you think it is. I'm not calling shots just because I feel like it. No, there's a purpose to his rules, a purpose to him calling those shots.
Yes, sir.
And again, that's why he needs to be competent to do that effectively. And I'll lay my plane on that.
All righty. Thank you. Mr. Hank in the basement. Final thoughts?
I mean, my final thoughts is leadership is not something easy. It's a lot of responsibilities you got to accept when you, like you said, when you take on that role. They want to, men love that title because it sounds good, it feels good. Until you don't always get the praises and that uplifting that you feel like you deserve or should get, because it's not going to always be there, though. That's part of being a leader. You may know what you did, but society may see differently. But also, when you do have to take your L's, you're going to have to take your L's, regardless if it's your fault or not. As a man, as a leader, you're going to have to take it. Because like you say, they're going to come to you. They're not going to come to my wife. They're not going to come to my son. They're not going to come to my daughter or my granddaughter. They're going to come to me. Why did I allow this to happen? Why didn't I stop it? Why did I prevent it? Why didn't I do something different? Why wasn't I the one in implementing the conflict resolution? And I got to take that L. I got to. That's me as a leader. I accepted that role. I came out the womb a future leader. Now I got to live up to that name. And when I accept that role, I got to accept the good as well as the bad. And there's going to be more bads than goods. Guess what? At the end, we all know what we're doing it for. The betterment of our future. Like I said, my son, for my daughter and my granddaughter. And for the legacy that I'm trying to leave, for the next generation. So.
All righty. Thank you so much, Hank. And Passport, Charles. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Going back to the whole 14-year-old boy thing. It's a tragic situation on all sides, but I just want the men to look at how you know you can be easily eliminated, and you know everybody is championing your demise. So if you ever find yourself in that situation, is to be prepared for if anything goes left, that you're able to address it and handle yourself accordingly. You know, don't look at women as innocent damsels in distresses. They can be as aggressive and, like you said, and just like what was said before, that you can get yourself deleted for underestimating that she wouldn't take it there because you're the stronger species. Now, as far as the whole thing with the marriage, hey, I never seen. I mean, my parents never was married, so you can have a relationship because, like I said, being single, I mean, marriage is not really going to solve that because there's plenty of people that have good, long lasting relationships without having that contract between each other. So, but like I said, if both people are happy with that, you don't really need that piece of paper to solidify everything. So, um, like always, I encourage guys to get their passports, take exercise your options, and thank you for having me.
Hey, I just want the invite for the wedding when you get married, though.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, man, it's a tall tale, but if it happens, I'll be on social media so you can see it.
I know that's right.
All right. I'm not sure if Sean is there. I know King isn't there. He dropped off a little bit
Yeah, I'm
ago.
here.
Okay, Sean, final thoughts?
The video, I'm leaving to Chicago guy. He dropped that mic on that.
Did a good job.
The other videos, we touched on it a lot, and everybody had some great points. Thank you for having us all. But what I will say, a servant is the master, because to he we are dependent. I'm going to be a bachelor forever. I'm banging on the wall, because guess what? Women are sheep, men are shepherds, and I want flocks. Oh man, nah, y'all have a good night. I think there was a great conversations. I did get a lot of valuable
I can remember that.
tidbits, and I did enjoy seriously some of the ancestry that he was building with us on, and which actually applied to a lot of the points that we were making all throughout the whole conversation. And I think we do need to get better at it. We do need to understand our roles better. And hopefully, when we do, we'll be able to have more functional and stable family situations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. My final thoughts are I really appreciate you guys for coming and having this conversation, and those who are watching, those who have commented that were, I feel like some people done went off to bed. It's okay. It's okay. We know this is a long one. But I appreciate you guys. Seriously, I have these Monday mixed message men's panel for understanding so that we can have these conversations and just bring out a little bit more of the misunderstanding. And then we'll have guys like Brock, who have that wisdom where we can just sit and kind of just marinate in that. And so I like having these conversations. So I thank every last one of you for coming on. Thank you so much. And for those who are not on anymore, King, Chicago Rilla, I think it was his first time being on. Ikane, thank you so much for being on. VG, thanks so much for being here. But I really appreciate you guys. We're going to be again back same place next Monday, 9:00
Corey.
Corey, yes, Corey was on. Charted to my heart, y'all. I'm sorry, my brain. It's a lot going on sometimes when I'm doing these. So Corey, thank you for being here. But we'll be back on Monday, 9 o'clock Eastern. Again, definitely share the live stream, or at least share the channel. I'm gonna be doing more conversations around foster care and adoption. Me and someone that I do panels with on Tuesday night, Tony. Me and him used to do the talks on adoptee on Sundays. So I'm gonna be coming back out with that. We referenced a book, and so that's what kept us going for 12 weeks. And so I took a little break from that, and then we're gonna get back on it for Sunday night. So I'll be on Sundays and Mondays. Tuesdays I'm on the Modern Dating panel. Wednesdays is my free day. Thursdays I'm on La Peep Network, and back here on Mondays and Sundays. So guys, definitely tune into the channel. But again, I thank you. And if that is everything, y'all always know what I say. Be real with yourself so you can be real with others. You guys have a great evening. Thanks again for coming, and have a good night. Bye-bye.